We are joined now by Sam McKewon from the Omaha Herald. Sam, how are we doing this morning?
Good. Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you great. We appreciate you being flexible with us this morning here.
Of course. Yeah, what's up?
Oh, just trying to parse through everything that happened this weekend.
We're fighting with people in the chat, Sam.
Yeah, we're arguing with strangers on the internet, as
right.
as is very common for our profession now. Sam, how are you doing this morning?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be – it's one of those weeks where it's interesting because, like, you're trying to cram a whole bunch of family time in, and that's good. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But it's not a quiet week in terms of, like, the job. Basketball is kind of quiet this week for Nebraska. They're playing Winthrop in South Carolina upstate, and the women's basketball team's not – they're playing teams in Florida that they should beat. But busy week for volleyball. Obviously, they'll be the number one overall seed in the NCAA tournament, but you got to watch their draw because there could be a team in blue that's the 8 or 9, and coming down to Lincoln for the second weekend. And for football, it's just a huge game, right? I mean, they laid an egg out in State College and did not play well. Maybe had. You could always argue that if that first drive ends in a touchdown, the entire nature of the game changes. But you can't have one play go bad and then have what happened happen for the next 2.5 quarters. That's the worst 2.5 quarters Nebraska's played since Indiana last year. They just didn't. Their defense didn't respond. Their offense didn't have enough plays in the Rolodex, and it felt like. I don't think there was any concession. I think they kept playing hard, but it felt like, okay, on to Iowa. Like there was a moment in there, where it just felt like when they came out for the second half and Penn State went right down the field, they're like, okay, this game's over. And, it's at that point you start writing because like, they ain't coming back. They're not pulling out all the stops to come back here at Penn State. So, pretty disappointing performance from Nebraska.
Yeah, I'm curious. You said something there about the opening drive and whether they get points there or not. Because I've thought a lot about that, and as I'm like rewatching, I'm trying to figure out if I think that if something had changed on that drive, whether they take the 3 points or whether they actually convert and get the touchdown, is there a part of you that believes that could have changed the course of the game, or because of how everything else played out, you're like, yeah, that probably, whether they score there or not, probably doesn't change it based on how Penn State played?
I think Penn State still wins the game. I picked Penn State to win, and I thought it was going to be a very tough challenge going out there, even with the crowd not being very large. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be hard. It was still the hardest road game Nebraska had all year, which is notable. I think it would have changed the competitiveness of the game.
Sure.
I don't think the game is very competitive, and I do think you take that into account. Like you can't just say, well, a win's a win and a loss is a loss. I thought that for example, the loss to Indiana last year really kind of put a bad spin on that season until the next week when they almost beat Ohio State. So like it matters how you lose, and I thought Nebraska lost in a sort of we're going to do what we can here, and we'll let TJ throw the ball around and try to play the game the right way and so on and so forth. But, yeah, their defensive strategy didn't work. They thought they could maybe, put a 5-man line out there and maybe solve some things, and that Penn State just kind of ran around it, to be candid with you. They threw around it, and they ran around it. Yeah. They let Nebraska line their 5 guys up and do whatever they were going to do, and it just wasn't a very good strategic plan, and they still haven't figured out how to stop teams on the edge of the field. I don't know if Iowa will exploit that. Hard to say, but it just didn't look like Nebraska was very well prepared. Didn't look like they had a schematic advantage. Looked like they got out coached. Just one of those games where it's like, I don't know. It was, and after the game, they're like, "Hey, this stunk," and then we're gonna move on. So Iowa does them a favor by being the next game, right? Like Iowa does them a huge favor by being the rival that comes after the Penn State game. So we're not going to spend much time talking about it because they're going to be all focused on Iowa. But if you lose to Iowa, that loss to Penn State looks a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose to Iowa, the whole season looks a lot worse, right? I mean, it gets a lot harder to feel good about progress. Not to say that there's not any, but a loss to Iowa really changes the entire tone of the offseason, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I think the way you could, in theory, change that is if you lose to Iowa and you go to Las Vegas and you play Utah and you beat Utah. That'd be
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's going to happen. I think if you go to Las Vegas and you play Utah, you're going to lose to Utah. But
Utah would be a bad matchup.
Yeah, they would. And how about playing Arizona State and Jeff Sims? That would be something too.
That'd be incredibly ironic.
Yeah, it would. It'd be strange. I don't know. Like I feel like that it's a huge game. It's one of the largest games in Rule's tenure, to be candid with you. Like, it might be the largest one because he's not going anywhere. He's going to be here a long time, and it's gonna go how it's gonna go, and they've got more work to do, and they know all that, and I've talked about that all season. But I do feel like fans need that. They need to see Nebraska beat Iowa, and to feel like going into next year, it's going to feel like all these things, and like you need the money people to feel good about it, and all the qualities that go along with that. If you lose to Iowa, you've lost 3 of your last 4. Only team you beat was UCLA, and it feels kind of stinky, and you lost 4 of your last 6, and just you didn't finish the way you wanted. They've got work to do, for sure. So I'll be intrigued to see what happens. I do think they've probably prepared very much for this game. They didn't just roll into the office Sunday morning and go, okay, what's Iowa got for us? Like, that's not what happened. So they put a lot of energy into preparing for this game, and we'll see how it goes.
So, Sam, as you look at Iowa, you mentioned, or I've seen a lot of people mention the kind of physicality that Iowa wants to play with, and looking at the Penn State game, and they go, oh, God, is this going to happen again, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the differences for you between this Iowa team and this Penn State team? I'm trying not to ask this in a leading way at all, because I want to get your answer and not infect it with my opinion.
Well, I mean, I think there's some differences for sure. Iowa has better special teams, and so they're going to win that way. And they have an incredible punt returner and kickoff returner, Cade Weechin, maybe the best we've seen in the last decade anywhere. I mean, he's great. They do a great job of blocking for him. So obviously he's elite there, and they're elite. I think the way I describe Iowa to everybody is Iowa's like gravity. Iowa pulls everybody closer to them. So if it's an elite team, Iowa pulls them closer. If it's a bad team, Iowa pulls them closer. That's how you can have a situation where Iowa loses by 2 to Oregon and only wins by 3 against Michigan State. And the spread between Oregon and Michigan State's about 35 points. So Iowa is gravity. That's how Iowa functions. And so you have to keep that in mind. Iowa's not as good at home. They're not as good away from home. They don't play as well away from home. So perhaps Nebraska can take some advantage there. They haven't been able to do it at Memorial Stadium. They've found novel ways to lose at home in recent years, and they've got to try to figure that out. I think they don't have nearly as good a skill players. Every skill player, with the exception of the tight ends at Penn State, is better than Iowa's skill players. So, and that wasn't true last year. They had Caleb Johnson last year, but Nebraska shut him down completely. So, aside from one long play. So, the way I describe Iowa, and people always kind of look at me funny when I say this, is I'm like, Iowa's actually a big play team. Iowa wins with big plays. They don't win with small plays. They win with big plays. They might have 60 plays in a game, 120 plays in a game, offense and defense and special teams. And 110 of those plays are small plays. Iowa wins the 10 big plays. That's what they do. They actually are a big play offense. And people are like, no, they're not. Yes, they are. They're actually terrible at moving the change, and they punt all the time. But 2 or 3 times a game, they hit a 40-yard play. That's what Iowa does. And they do an incredible job of limiting big plays. And so Iowa doesn't give you the big play. They don't give you the explosive, but they hit the explosive. And one day when we're way far out of like being able to look at the way this stuff works, we're going to see that whatever Kirk Ferentz did about 10 years ago when he changed his program was sort of a Moneyball-esque, almost genius approach. And we don't give it the credit it deserves because their talent is like not where Ohio State's is. And so when they go play really good teams, they don't match up. And they can't do the things that they do. But you want to talk about a team that does an incredible job of beating average to poor teams on a consistent basis. That's what they do. And they do it with a formula that just works. I guarantee you that Maryland is probably about as talented as Iowa. They just don't play in a way that wins games. Iowa does. And Nebraska is trying. I think they're trying to get there, but they're not there yet. And on top of that, like Nebraska's really had a problem in this series of self-inflicted errors that Iowa doesn't make. So we'll have to see how Nebraska plays. I mean, they've got to play smart. They've got to limit the big plays, and they got to hit their own. There is a scenario out there, guys, where Nebraska wins this game by 3 touchdowns, and I'm not kidding. One day, it's just all going to happen, and they're going to kick Iowa's butt. I just don't know if that's going to be Friday. I kind of thought it would be, but watching Nebraska play Penn State, and understanding what I feel like I'm hearing is the undercurrent of the team right now, everybody around there is just really worn down, like physically. Like the defense is just not what it needs to be. It's a little small. It's a little over. It's just a little worn down. And I think everybody's just a little, you get late in the season, everybody's kind of heard the same messages. They put a lot on the USC and UCLA games because those are LA teams. And I just felt like the Penn State effort was, I don't know if we're going to win this game. So, like that's how it felt. Can they pull those emotions up for Iowa and put aside their injuries and all that other stuff and just go play? I guess we'll find out.
Sam, is that the feeling that you got from the team when they were out in Happy Valley? Because I mean, they're coming off of a bye week going into Penn State. So if they're, worn down and going into that like, we're going to lose, that seems a little problematic, doesn't it?
Well, it's just, I think it's the wear and tear of the season. And you get in, you're trying to heal up. They did get guys back, so they got Merritt and McCullough back. They didn't necessarily play a ton. But you're trying to heal up. You're trying to, figure out how you're going to play the last 2 games. The challenge that Penn State is. It's a long road trip out there. All those things just kind of wear on you. Like, I know that basketball teams play like 3 times the games that football teams do, but it's 10 guys getting on a plane. It's not 100 guys. It's not 100 people. It's 20 people. And the physical wear and tear, and like what it feels like to get hit like that when it's cold. And I never played college football, but I've talked to enough people who do, and it's not saying hard for them to articulate how brutal it is. So what these guys are going through is really actually very, very hard. You go out there and play 30 plays in that temperature with 320-pound men cutting you and gashing into you. And that's really challenging. I mean, it was cold and wet enough that Penn State's, helmet paint cracked, and Rex Guthrie, who might be one of the best players on the team, if you're just talking about, he'll go do anything. He's down for anything. That's what I like about him, and that's what they like about it. They probably need a few more guys like that. They probably do. They probably need more of him and Caleb Benning, and they got a crop of guys coming. They know what they got coming up. They're just not quite ready, and some of them aren't quite big enough. I guess I don't know how to. They got to gain some more weight. Like they got another year in the weight room and all that. They know what they got coming. It's just, I think some of it's catching up on some of these guys. Remember, some of these guys came to Nebraska as 270, and now they're 300. But it's like an added 300. That's like, it's just not. You got to go out and get the 6'4", 334-pound guy that you cut 10 pounds from. Like they got to get a couple more large guys. In my opinion, that was my opinion going into last season. There were guys that added to the team I know I'm kind of rambling on and on here, but like they added guys to the team I thought were going to be edge rushers, and then they made them interior linemen. I'm like, I don't know how that's going to work. And so well, there's big picture questions that they have to assess after the end of the season. Suffice it to say, we all knew they were going to struggle against the run based on what they did and didn't bring in. Matt Rule tried to present something else at Las Vegas. I think in hindsight, he didn't have to have done that. Like, I don't think he had to play to sell it up, but he did. And so I think it gave people an impression of what might happen. And then Butler made the comment last week that I thought was unfortunate about low-hanging fruit. And I was like, you know what? No, it's that you don't have to say that. And then saying, well, we don't give up any explosive plays. And then you go out to Penn State and you give up like 7. It's not that was ill-timed. And I'm sure there's lots of things about that game he'd like to have back. That wasn't his best coach game.
Sam, talking about, you're talking about defensive line there a little bit. Bigger concern for you, I guess, moving forward based on kind of the guys they have in the room, the guys you think they've got coming up, defensive line or linebacker?
Well, that's a really good question. I actually think they're going to be okay on the defensive line with another year in the weight room and two or three more additions. That's my opinion. Now, they may disagree and go out and get like 4 or 5. I think they're going to be okay. Tyson Terry's hurt, right? And he's recovering.
But
that's
he's
one.
The bodies you're talking about.
He is. Malcolm Simpson is a larger edge guy. He's getting there. Williams Waneri's gotta continue to get better. He's worn down a little bit in the end of the season. Or more to the point, you can't just do all the stuff you were doing earlier in the season. You gotta kind of play, physically through it. At linebacker, okay, so that's where, I think that's where you're looking. Shavers obviously got to retain Vincent Shavers. And they had to do that last year, and they got to do it again. And I think they'll be able to do that, but Vincent Shavers will have opportunities. And we'll just see what those look like. So he'll have opportunities. First, Nebraska's got to retain him. Second, you have to get Merritt all the way ready to roll for next year, and it's got to be Dawson Merritt, 45 snaps a game. Then Christian Jones has got to get there too. He redshirted this year. And then you got to go out and find some other guys. Pierce Newberry is I don't think maybe he's a weak side linebacker. That might be a guy to watch. He redshirted. I don't know. I think they need linebackers for sure. I think they need to go out and get a couple of guys that can really, stick their nose in there. You saw Penn State's guys. They need that. They need guys like that. You'll see Iowa's guys. You see Michigan's guys. You need an Ernest Hausman. You need somebody like that. You need somebody that's very rangy, very physical, can hold up. Javen Wright's had a good season. So, I got nothing against Javen. He's done a great job and should be all Big Ten, like third team maybe. I think he'll get there. I think he deserves that. He's been good. He's really good in coverage, incidentally. No teams don't even throw to the tight ends, and Javen's one of the reasons why. So you got to have versatile guys, but I think you got to have guys that can really fill it up in the middle. Shavers has got to get better too. So on the big first long run of the game, Katron Allen's a really good player, but he sort of sees Shavers shooting through the hole, and he just kind of runs outside. And you have to continue to. Shavers has got to get better too. He will. He's crucial to retain. I think if I was gonna give you a list of guys, it's crucial to retain on defense. Shavers is probably number 2, and then Keona Davis is probably number 3, and number 1 I think is like an Andrew Marshall. You got to keep him. They're going to keep Donovan Jones. I think Donovan Jones will stay in Nebraska, and he's really important going forward. But I think they'll keep Rex Guthrie, and I think maybe number 1 is Andrew Marshall. Could he go to Oregon? Yeah, he could play there. So, I don't know. We'll have to see how they decide to play it out. But linebacker over defensive line. But we'll see what they do. They still need 2 giant defensive linemen, in my opinion. They need They need a Ty and they need a Nash. They need giants, and those guys were giants. And they need Riley Popple to get a little better, and they need some big fire hydrants in there, and which Nash Hutmaker was.
Sam, as you look at this offseason, I don't want to skip past Iowa, but I think Penn State has brought up kind of some bigger picture issues here. We talked about defensive line versus linebacker. How have you felt about the wide receivers that got brought in? We've had some people bring up like, hey, doesn't seem like, maybe Key has been as consistent as people wanted, or Hunter has been as consistent as people wanted. How much of that is the offense overall in general? How much of that do you put on the wide receiver?
I think Isaiah Hunter's had a very good season for a first-year guy coming out of Cal and having to catch passes from quarterbacks who aren't as good as Fernando Mendoza. So I think Hunter's had a great season. I don't think you have anything really there. Dane Key, I think some of that's on the offense. I think some of it's on, like, what do you want the offense to be? I think Saturday night you got to see the pass offense actually kind of open up a little bit, and I thought that was a good thing. You don't like the circumstances in which it occurred, but you got to see TJ kind of play the game a little bit and be in a situation where he had to throw a lot of passes. And ultimately, you do want to get to the point where your offense can throw it 35 times and look really good doing that, and not have 15 of those passes be, dump offs to the running back and the tight end. And so I thought there were some moments. Key is sort of their RPO slant guy, and I thought they hit him on a couple of those. It's hard to assess. It's a low possession league. Mm-hmm. It's a low play number league. You can't skimp on the receivers. You still have to have guys that can go make plays. But at the same time, I think some of it is Holgerson's coming into the league. He's coached 4 games in the league. He's looking around. He sees Banks and 18 are leaving. Nayor. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, we got to go get receivers. And, got to go get a back too next time. Got to give Emmett a little bit of a breather. See, people think, well, Emmett wouldn't have had all these yards if they had another back. Well, he might not have as many yards, but I'll bet he'd be averaging a couple more yards per carry. And that's the thing. Like, Emmett got hammered in that game, and he played really well, as he always does. But, what you want is a guy that can go in there and average 7 yards a carry. And I think if they had a hammer back that could have taken some of those punches off him a little bit, well, then all of a sudden he's got a little bit more burst and he makes another guy miss, and all of a sudden you got another long run. So I think it would have been, they'll go out and do that. Emmett's really got to consider the NFL. Mm-hmm. And so we could be saying goodbye to Emmett on Friday. Like, that could be it. That could be his last game. He could be going to the league. So then you got to go out and find 2 backs, folks, because they don't have a lead back in the guys behind him. They don't. So I thought maybe they did. Maybe they thought they did, but they don't. And so, or at least right now they don't. And so if Emmett leaves, are you going to pay Emmett to stay? Are you going to pay him like millions of dollars to stay through rev share money? Or are you going to say, you know what, go get your NFL dreams and go and then go pay $500,000 to somebody else to come in? Like, that's actually a decision that I'm sure Pat Stewart will lay out to Matt Rule and make a recommendation. Like, that will be something that he'll have to say, because I'm guessing there is a dollar figure that in theory could retain 21.
Yeah.
Somewhere it's not 0, and it's, probably
not 7 figures probably.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
there's probably a number that can do it.
Yeah.
But do you want to do that? Do you want to dedicate that? And then, and say, well, that's not a problem we have anymore. The cautionary tale there is Nick Singleton at Penn State. So sure. He could have come out last year, probably been a second-day pick, comes back, going to go win a natty. Didn't have a great season. Not as good as Katron Allen. Probably lost some draft stock, but he probably made 7 figures. I think they were paying their running backs combined probably about $3 million. That's what I think. And I think they probably got the quarterback on a whatever you call it, pretty discount deal. I think that's a good guy, that Drew Aller, and I think he probably took less to play there and play with all those guys and try to win a national title. So you feel for him, but they probably spent a lot of money on those 2 running backs, and it finally paid off. Right, time to play Nebraska.
Saturday. It worked Saturday.
Yeah.
Sam, I know you got to get going. I appreciate the time as always, and hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And
hey, same to you guys. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Oh, so this is a hot topic here. I'm not a huge Thanksgiving food guy.
Robbie does like tacos on Thanksgiving.
I will say, so this isn't like, not everybody has this, but if there's like a scallop potato, au gratin potato dish like that.
Oh yeah, those are awesome. Mine's stuffing, but I love scallop potatoes and I love pecan pie.
Ooh, okay.
Pecan, as some people say, but pecan pie. That's my
pecan. I'm a big holiday ham guy. My grandma puts like the pineapples and the pineapple juice and the cloves and all that syrup and sugar, and it's just I'll eat an entire plate of just that.
Ham is excellent. If you have not already seen the Danny Hurley little line about turkey on Thanksgiving and why his team won't be eating on Thursday, it's not quite safe for the stream, but it's hilarious. and his team will be eating their Thanksgiving on Wednesday because of tryptophan, and he explains that situation.
Yeah, I'm a big ham over turkey guy. I would agree.
Me too.
I would agree there.
Yeah, not a turkey guy.
Sam, appreciate it as always. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. We appreciate all the time you give us throughout the year.
Take care.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Chevrolet Buick. Give thanks and get driving. Save $3,300 off MSRP plus 0.9% APR on any 2025 Buick and Vista Preferred. Or sign and drive for just $339 a month. Bold looks, everyday luxury. Or lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT starting at $349 a month with 0 down. Compact size and ready for the season. This Black Friday sales event won't last. Hurry to Edwards Chevrolet Buick.
Not a chance.
Wow, I see how it is.
I thought your car with all the cameras could maybe just like into the stream.
Maybe one of those cameras can help you out
while it was watching you drive.
L3, I don't even know if I have rear view windshield wipers. Okay, like I don't know anything about this vehicle.
I say, Damon, have you figured out your car yet?
No, at some point it's going to talk to me and you're going to be like W2H and I'm going to say, I don't know.
Damon's going to find out his car can drive itself at some point. He's going to be like, oh, this is cool.
Oh, that's dangerous.
You know, it's a little bit of precip on the ground. It brings out the worst. It may have to go to auto drive. These people are ridiculous.
Oh, don't worry. I already went on that rant. As soon as we started the show with me ranting about that, I had to drive in from Lincoln early morning rain traffic is terrible.
Like, I don't understand. Like, what's the difference?
People are dumb. They see water and they're like, "Oh no, my car! It won't be able to drive into water." I don't know why they have that accent, but that's how I imagine everybody that drives slow on the interstate. That's how they talk.
I mean, this is it's borderline incredible. It's a good thing. Do you know what made my quad box yesterday was Huddle Film, watching like every game of every team that I have today. So it's a good thing I'm ready because Zoe forgot her backpack, so I had to go back to her school.
Oh no!
This morning to drop her backpack off, and I'm gonna walk in, and they're gonna mic me up. We're gonna do the open, and I better get it right on the first take. That's how we're doing it this morning.
DB, so you've got D1, D2, and B today. What games are you? I mean, I know you love 8-man football. What games are you most excited about?
I kind of like them all. There's something different. I want to see the Hedstrom kid from St. Mary's. He looks really good. Wynot can score a ton of points. So, like, that's going to be fun. Crofton and Sandy Creek have played brutal schedules. Sandy Creek, especially at the quarterback spot, they had some big shoes to fill. So that'll be two battle-tested teams with tough schedules. And then tonight should be an all-out slugfest between East and Waverly. Nathan Axe, two really, really good running backs in this one with Connor Sams and Axman, and two quarterbacks that distribute it pretty well. And shout out to Waverly, man. Coach Manstead, and that's my guy. Coach Manstead, his huddle, he has all 22 end zone version. That guy is the GOAT, and it's going to huddle team.
Wow.
That's huddle game strong right there. So yeah, we'll look forward to watching those games all throughout the day, and then this evening with the Class B matchup. Before we move on to Nebraska here, I know the Class B one kind of fascinates me just with the way Gretna East has been able to, in just their third year of existence, get to this point as a program already. Obviously, the big win in the semifinals against, crosstown rival Gretna. Has that surprised you at all that they've been able to get to this point so quickly?
Actually not. I think geographically, the design, the crop of kids that they got that planned ahead for the boundary line, I think this was in the works. You ask Coach Oberman when he got that job, I don't know if he would have said state championship possibilities in year 3, but I mean, he at no point when he'd taken this job did he lack confidence that they would win right away at all.
Yeah, I think that's I don't know Coach Oberman the way you do. I'm not sure he lacks confidence in about a lot of things.
What's up with these?
That much is true as well. That much is true.
What's up with these Omaha suburb schools just getting really good right away?
Yeah, that's how it's built now. You may have to take your lumps for maybe the first year because you're young, but when these schools start to open and you get in some of these neighborhoods that have a migrant, just like a pattern of kids, they know what they're doing. And I think, like we saw it at Elkhorn North, we've seen it at Gretna East. You've seen it a little bit with Westview, especially on the basketball side.
Mm-hmm.
You get new schools, man. They're built to win in a hurry. How quick? It took Millard West won a state title in their first 4 years, I think, of being open.
Yeah, so, it wasn't much more than that for sure.
Yeah, it can definitely happen. That's for sure.
DB, let's move on to the Nebraska Penn State game. When you see
how's the tenor been? Has it been?
Oh,
fire everybody again because every loss is a re-referendum on the program.
Yeah,
okay. Let me go through.
We're staying toxic out here.
So Rule needs to be fired. The defensive line, which has been bad all season, is so trash that everybody needs to be gone, and you need new defensive linemen. All the linebackers are terrible. Did I mention that Rule needs to be fired? Just the
Butler needs to be fired.
Butler needs to be fired.
Butler needs to be fired.
Just the regular cast of complaints.
Yeah, it is unusual. Not unusual. I said this 3 weeks ago after a loss. I don't know, man. I think people can't wait till after a loss to either bang on the keyboards or get on the phone. It's like a birthright. And we talk about a lot of things in which, I don't know. Like, if I had to assess it, I was surprised, right? I didn't see the game playing out the way it did, especially when Nebraska had the ball for more times and that amount of snaps, right? That's not indicative of what I saw happen, or what I envisioned happening. But I'll tell you guys, there's plenty of explanation to go around. If I'm at the press conference, and it depends on how fast this first game goes or whatever, I may try to sneak over there. But if anybody that's in the media has the opportunity to ask a question, ask it something like this: hey, Coach, I know you want to move on to Iowa. It's a quick turnaround. And just a couple things about the Penn State game. How would you assess, just the fundamentals, right? Like your team's ability to just get lined up pre-snap, right? Where, I can't wait to ask the question because it looked like, and I may be exaggerating just a little bit. And again, the difference between an excuse and an explanation is ownership. So players have to own it. But you guys, I'm telling you, sure as I'm sitting here, I bet you of the first 10 or 11 plays that Nebraska lined up defensively, they lined up incorrect. I get it, right? It's the third week in November. But when you play, you look at some young guys playing some key roles for the first time, like I think it got away from them, right? I go back to, Robbie, what I told you off air about Millard South, right? It's like, the first 7 snaps, we didn't run any of the pressures that were called. So I called the guys over. That's coaching, right? Like Coach Queen, that's myself. Like we've got to own that. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, is the moment, like what's going on where when we call this pressure? So then you have to kind of get an explanation and you kind of walk through it and you regroup. I'm telling you, it took Nebraska. We always start with this, AAT, alignment, assignment, technique. Where am I lined up? What's my assignment? Then what technique do I use? AAT all the time, right? I would be curious to see how many times Nebraska was misaligned. It looked like a fair amount, especially early. There's a big difference between being in a one, a shade, a strong side shade or a weak side shade. If we're on the move and I move left and everybody else is going right, like early on, there was a little bit too much of that where I feel like the players kind of have to own it, right? JB's going to get – Coach Butler's going to get killed, and I'll get to him in a second. But I would be curious, like if you ask some of the players how much of it falls on them, I think they would raise their hand and stand up and fall on the grenade. Now, you do have to play better, right? I wondered how injured Javen Wright was or wasn't. I mean, he's clearly got to play better. Second level, which I told you, Ravi, was the key for me. It wasn't so much the D-line. It was fitting off of that with all the more formations and schemes. Like, you got to get a little bit more downhill. You have to be more sudden. You have to be able to play at 45 in a hurry, especially with patient runners. Fitting on the back end was a disaster. And part of that, though, and where I think scheme actually matters is Penn State clearly saw something. With Nebraska runs a couple of coverages. I talk about it loosely because you need a dry erase board, and I'm not really interested in describing how they play defense well, I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Those guys can watch tape too, but they do these deals where they talk to each other. And they call this defense. It's called slice, and it's got some cover two principles to it. But you have a boundary setter too that's at the corner spot. So there are a couple of play calls defensively where I'm like, either you have to check out of that, or you're just gonna get hit with these beaters, right? You'll see like the corner route and then the sail route. When you have a squatty corner, a deep half safety, a low hole, and a high hole linebacker, that concept is going to be there. And it's almost like stealing. The running yards, because I think Penn State average, I don't know, what was it, 5.9 a play, Nebraska was in the 4s. That wasn't as egregious as I thought, like on the rewatch. What I was a little surprised at that you couldn't have is the chunk plays that they gave up in the passing game. I could handle a little bit of the run game, but 11 of 12 for 181 with what they try to do defensively, that dog just wasn't going to hunt.
Yeah, DB, I'm glad you brought that up because I was, we've seen Nebraska at least be in games where running backs have done, frankly, pretty similar things to what Penn State did, right? I mean, Michigan, I think even USC to a certain extent. Northwestern's running back had a good day. Like we've seen, I think they weren't in the Minnesota game, but we've seen Nebraska give up big days to running backs, but because the pass defense was so good, they were able to at least give themselves a fighting chance. I was pretty stunned by the way Grunkmeyer. I mean, you heard me talk about it all week, like, hey, make him throw, make him beat you in the air, and he did. Like
but I told you that kid could spin it.
Sure, yeah,
blowing smoke. But Penn, that's a good football team. That's a good football team. They didn't luck into taking Indiana down to the wire and playing Oregon tough, right? That's a very capable football team, and I wanted people to know that all week.
Yeah, and I obviously didn't feel the same way in terms of how good I thought Penn State was.
And that's cool. Like it's not a me you thing. I'm saying.
No, I know.
There's like this give and take when an opponent plays in a game like this. The environment was crazy chill, right? I mean, I was floored at all the spaces in the stadium. And I wondered, I'm like, there's no way you could allow yourself to get lulled to sleep here. But from the moment I got there, and I was fortunate enough, I caught one of I had the invite to catch the bus and go over to the field right from the airport. Like, I didn't go back to our hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, from the moment I got there, you could tell that's, like, nobody enjoyed being there. I don't think Coach Rule wanted to be there. I think Penn State was, like, the whole coming home vibe was grossly overrated. Like, we got home an hour and a half ahead of schedule. But an hour and a half ahead of schedule. I think, what was player availability? 2 players? Like, they couldn't get out of there. He was already talking about moving on to Iowa. I don't know what it was, but from the jump, it really didn't sit well with the vibe. And I think once the players got there, I liked the preparation. I did. I thought warm-ups was good. I felt like it was pretty crisp. Felt like the guys were confident. I think getting stoned on that 4th and 1, that 4th and goal, I didn't have any problems not getting going for it there. But when 2 of your first 3 red zone trips, 3 of those first 3, you only end up with 3 points. I think then you start to play on your heels a little bit. And the funny thing is, Ravi, you and I kind of went through this mental exercise of, I was like, hey, I did this cool little thing with the folks out at Nebraska City. Like, if you go 4 down versus 5 down, who do you pull out? You're going to lose a natural safety. Like, there's all sorts of dilemmas. So Nebraska tried to play a lot of 4 and 5 down, and their fits, guys, out of some of the 5 down stuff just isn't gonna hold up because you're basically playing a 5-2 in concept, right?
Yeah.
We stopped playing 5-2s in like the 6th grade, right? Like that's an old school Okie front, and you have to really be good at it. When I look at Deshaun Singleton's tackles, that doesn't surprise me. Because in a defense like that, where you play with guys that close to the line of scrimmage, if you get to the initial first level, if you get it handled, then good backs just get to be good backs, right? Mm-hmm. So there's definitely some give and take with playing 5 down and playing with 2 linebackers and traditional 4 secondary versus. I mean, did you have 3 guys on the second level that you felt like you wanted to play well? It was just. That's as poor as I've seen the secondary play as a whole in terms of getting into the box. Outside of Sierra Wright and Singleton, I think in the run game they really, really suffered.
That was going to be my question for you, Damon. Was the secondary in the pass game for the little bit that Penn State did throw the ball? were they so preoccupied with getting into the box, even though they didn't fit it all that well? Were they so preoccupied with getting into the box that's where those big pass plays came from? Because I don't know if you saw it, but I noticed a couple of times where the safeties had their eyes on the quarterbacks after the play action, and that's when those little corner, those out routes were just wide open, and there's nobody within 5 yards of the receivers.
Yeah, so those stressors are, if you think cover 2 in your head, the corner's going to squat, so he's kind of a flat defender. Yeah, this is general. And the safety over the top is a deep half guy. Inside linebacker is low hole, so he's middle of the field, low. Second linebacker, deep hole, so he's splitting the hash. Other safeties, same thing, other side over the top of number 1, the corner squat. So you get these two concepts. They've run an over route, and they've run it's almost like it acts like a corner because it's a corner route because it's supposed to hold your safety and be over the head of your corner, but you run the over route behind it, and if you have time, I mean, it's just a natural cover 2 beater. So I think that's the part where I think schematically those play calls and those checks don't really give your guys a chance at success, but it's also predicated on not having a quarterback have time to survey the field too. And as we saw, pressure just was, well, it really pressure. The pass rush just really didn't get home. So it's kind of a recipe for disaster. I mean, they basically, you laid an egg on a multitude of levels, but I'm telling you, sure as I'm sitting here, and this isn't me being the eternal optimist, because I'll keep it real with you. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. What Nebraska needs to do and wants to do against Iowa this week will be vastly different from how I think they'll need to have defended Penn State. Now, I get it. Penn State ran the ball. Iowa wants to run the ball. We can get all to the run comps, but how they get there is different, and what they do off of it is different. So you'll see Nebraska, I think, number one, I don't know. It's Monday. I may change my mind. I think you have to shuttle in some different bodies in the secondary, right? I'm not just saying that obviously because the elephant in the room is I have a son that plays secondary, but in a multitude of areas, I think you have to tinker with how you want to play back there because it has to complement what's going on the second level too. If Javen Wright's not healthy, you have to cover up for what he's capable of doing, what you normally ask him to do. If Jacob Bauer is playing, which by the way, this is one of those weeks where I didn't love the Pro Football Focus weekly grade. Bauer played better than his grade. Don't let anybody with a brain tell you different. He gets downhill, but for a downhill guy that plays in a hallway, you have to play. There's certain things you can't do on the back end behind him because he's not going to give you that kind of coverage. If Shavers is going to be more of your weak side guy that plays out in space, he's got to trigger quicker, right? He's got to be a little lighter on his feet. Fundamentally, he's got to shoot his shot. So it all goes together. We can nag and whine about the D-line, but most of us that do don't really know what we're talking about. That doesn't mean you can't have an opinion. It's just not as, oh, we can't fix this, hit the portal. Like, that's not how coaching works. When I'm on the move and I slant, I cannot get washed. Once I get lateral and I hit my 45 stunt, work back vertical. Anybody that coaches this game will tell you that's just football 101. Hey, get back vertical, don't get washed. Ask coaches how many times they say, get back vertical, don't get washed. Just a little too much of that, right? The first run to Allen, the first long run, you know, if Cam, first of all, they went the wrong way. Like, that's number one. There's no way on that long run they hit that right as a D-line. So the gap that Shavers tried to fit where he kind of hesitated, it shouldn't have even been there. Now, having said that, That's probably a play Nine's got to make. You know, I saw 37 can't really stack him. You know, they got to figure out how to replace when they get crack blocks and your eyes go inside with a receiver. They're doing that to get you in conflict. They did it on the screen pass, the little two-man concept that they scored inside the 10. They did the exact same thing that they did on the run. The number one receiver does short motion. He cracks the safety. 2 goes out. Well, they got Donovan on it the first time at the run. Then they got it on the same concept on the pass inside the 10 because of how Nebraska likes to play defensively. Do you have to play better leverage? Absolutely. Do you need to go back over crack replacing? Probably. But you can also help them out, which is what I think they'll do this week, by playing a little more one high, not just to show to stop the run, but playing more one high and actually use pass defense out of it.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Jeep, Village Point, and Council Bluffs. Lease the 2025 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sport S 4x4 starting at $359 a month, or take $10,000 off MSRP. 2 locations, massive selections. Or get behind the wheel of a 2025 Jeep Gladiator High Tide 4x4. Lease starting at $299 a month and get a $1,500 gift card back. Truck muscle, Wrangler Spirit, bold selection. Bigger savings at Edwards Ram and Jeep, Village Point, and Council Bluffs.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Madison Hricik. She covers Iowa for the Cedar Rapids Gazette. Madison, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on again. Been a minute since we all talked, so I was very glad that y'all reached out to chat about this weekend.
It's got to be Iowa week, right? It always. At what point do you think we throw out, or do we, like, scheme and fundamentals and the actual execution and just realize it's Nebraska, Iowa? It's kind of just good old-fashioned hate week, and that's what's going to matter.
It kind of feels like Cyhawk week, honestly, where it's just like the hate exists across the board on both sides, and you know it's going to be a weird football game. It's just a matter of what kind of weird football game we're getting. Like earlier this season with Cyhawk week, it was a classic Cyhawk game of just like gritty, a lot of defense, not a lot of scoring. Honestly, I would love to tell you what I think this game could look like in terms of what kind of rivalry week game this could be. I really don't have any idea. This Iowa team is full of surprises, and it really just kind of depends on what happens.
So speaking of surprises, Iowa has, as you mentioned, been full of them, I think, this year, going from games like the Cyhawk game, 16-13, that's a very Iowa game, to you've got some random like 37-0 against Wisconsin and 41-3 against Minnesota, which do not feel like Iowa games at all. What do you have a good feel of who this team is on a week-to-week basis? It seems like maybe they've settled in a little bit more, but there's been some outliers this year that you don't typically see from Iowa.
Yeah, outliers is definitely like the best word to describe it. And even then, it doesn't feel like it is a true outlier where it's a one-off scenario and it's just never going to happen again, because we saw it happen again later on this year. I think where, at least in terms of the offense, where I'm seeing a little bit of consistency and identity is just the fact that this team refuses to just go down and just take a knee and call it a day. Whether they're on the winning or the losing side of the football. We saw it against Michigan State last week. I mean, Iowa's offense had no reason to win that game for 58 of the 60 minutes of football we watched. And then it was like the 2-minute warning happened. And it was like, oh my gosh, where has this offense been all game? I think I even tweeted that. I was like, where has the offense been all game, when they eventually tied the game and then inevitably won it off the field goal. So I really do think this is an offense that just refuses to yield. And I think that just comes from the fact that when you've got a quarterback that's won a lot of football games in his career, it's going to be very difficult for him to kind of just sit back and be like, well, we tried. And that's just not Gronowski's nature by any means. And I think that really kind of carried over quite a bit throughout the rest of the offense.
So there's this component of him, and I watched Gronowski forever in Brookings, and he's just kind of a winner, right? Just gutty, and he's gonna make plays when it matters. How much of that do you think needs to happen, or is there a way to channel it earlier to get him involved? Maybe it's QB run game, maybe it's, I don't know, sometimes I think he just needs to run into something at a high rate of speed and all of a sudden he's like super dialed. But like, is there a way that Iowa fans want to see that expedited so it's not always the heroics at the end, or is that just going to kind of be how this offense is built right now?
It's definitely a situation where I feel like this is going to kind of be how the offense is that it's an offense that really likes to put things together in the fourth quarter. I don't think any football fan is going to complain about an offense clicking in the fourth quarter. I think they might complain if had the ball in the first half to start the game every year, and they've only scored on first possession, I think maybe 3 times now this season. I think that's where a lot of maybe the frustration for Iowa fans come from right now. And when you watch this offense, especially in that fourth quarter, it makes sense because you look at the line and how veteran they are and how well they've played all season. You look at the running back room and the depth they have, Gronowski's ability to just turn nothing into something. And honestly, it seems like, okay, it almost feels like there should be a reason for them to score on the first possession. And they haven't done that consistently, particularly in Big Ten play. And
so
I think
the anti-USC game, right? You jumped on them,
yes.
And then SC is like...
You want to talk about an outlier? That was the outlier. It was the first half of that USC game. We're all sitting up in the press box in LA being like, what is going on? Yeah. But I loved that creativity, though. I will say that. The offensive creativity in that first half was incredible. I enjoyed every bit of that. So as somebody who likes those X's and O's.
Is that kind of the way that you want to attack Iowa? Because we're talking kind of through the formats, and I said at some point Nebraska is going to have to win some vertical 50-50s just because the way Iowa's built defensively, they're not going to give you anything. You have to be willing to go get it. And we saw Maeva take some chances, kind of some one-on-ones. That's going to kind of have to be what it boils down to. Do you think sometimes in crunch time when you're playing a defense that is sound as Iowa is?
Absolutely. I think so. I think the one-on-one matchups, particularly in the receivers, defensive back, that side of things, taking a deep shot, whether it's a 15-yard ball or a 35-yard ball, I think those one-on-one matchups and just kind of just saying, all right, we're going to throw it in the air. Let's see, can our receiver make a play? I think that's going to be key for Nebraska. I do think that the vertical battle is going to be something to watch. I think that I will say this. TJ Hall was not listed on Iowa's depth chart for Nebraska this week. He didn't play against Michigan State last week. He got injured against USC. We should be getting an update on his status from Kirk Ferentz later this afternoon. I would assume if he didn't play against Michigan State, it's probably so that he can play against Nebraska. But we don't know the full nature of the injury, so we're still kind of in a little bit of the dark as to what's going on with that. However, TJ Hall's not the only player that's been in one-on-one matchups in that secondary. And I do agree with you. The secondary is going to be huge. And just, can these Nebraska receivers make a play when it comes down to it? Because at the end of the day, a lot of other teams have found success against Iowa's defense doing that. And it's why Iowa's defense has been blitzing a lot more recently too.
Yeah.
Madison, let me ask you this a little bit bigger picture on the Iowa season. Obviously the 4 losses is probably not where they want it to be, but they're by 15 points. What's the general sense of how this season has gone, and how much will that change with either a win or loss against Nebraska?
So I think the general consensus of this season with the current 4 losses has been you were that close. Like literally that close. And I think that's across the board. I don't necessarily think that's just with fans and a fan perspective, a media perspective. I feel like the players and the coaching staff are aware that, they were a screen pass, a turnover away from being in a situation where they're undefeated heading into this game. I'm not saying that they should be or they would have been, but that's how close those margins are. And I think that it's emphasized just how close Iowa has been to just getting rid of this ranked winless streak that they've been riding for about 13 games now. But that really has been the tail of this season, is that they've been that close and just can't get it done, whether it's because of the defense unable to get a stop or the offense not able to put on extra points at the right time, or you name it. And so I think the game over Nebraska can either solidify that or it can maybe expand that. I think with a win, it solidifies the theory of, you've done everything you can against the teams that you should have beaten. However, you were that close to beating the teams that you could have beaten. Versus an Iowa loss to Nebraska. I was talking on the radio to somebody last week. They're saying, an Iowa season where you beat Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Nebraska is a good season. Does that come into jeopardy? Huh. If you lose to Iowa State and Nebraska in the same season, even though you did beat Wisconsin and Minnesota, I don't know. I'm still learning about a lot of this myself. This is my first year on this beat, so I'm still figuring out a lot of this stuff. This is part of that. I'm still learning at the tail end of the first season as to what a loss or a win over Nebraska really means in terms of this rivalry, but also just in terms of the grand picture of Iowa football throughout its seasons, not necessarily just this one.
Interesting. That's Madison Hricik from the Cedar Rapids Gazette. Madison, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate the time, and hope you enjoy your stay in Lincoln, but not too much.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Maddie.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Ram and Jeep, Village Point, and Council Bluffs. Lease the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn 4x4 for $339 a month, or get $17,000 off MSRP. 2 locations, massive selections. Or make room for every mile in the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited 4x4. Lease for $329 a month, or save $13,000 off MSRP. Luxury meets capability in every mile. Bigger savings at Edwards Ram and Jeep, Village Point, and Council Bluffs.
We're joined now by Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 BC. What's going on?
Not a lot. How you guys doing?
B Sizzle, how are things?
Things are okay. I mean, if you can't have a little joy in your heart the day before Thanksgiving, you're in trouble, right?
Joy, come on, pump it up. And pain. No, I'm kidding. Just
exactly.
Joy.
There you go.
How we doing, B? We're all right.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I think people wanted me to go in on my partner yesterday, but because 10 wins versus this would be playing for the 8th win with a chance to go to a bowl game. That's all I wanted, B. Were my expectations too low? Because that's now I didn't expect to get. I didn't like Minnesota and I didn't like Michigan. Like that may surprise you that those are the 2 games that still bug me a little bit. But Iowa being the 8th win. Potentially, and the 9th for the bowl game was where I was at. Was the bar too low?
No. I feel like 8-4 was the majority set bar across the state, and I don't want to speak out of turn and be like the guy who has the voice of this is what the state thought going into this game, this season. But we did polls and stuff like that, and a lot of people were with you on that with their prediction. And I think
that's how it's looked.
And saw that. Yeah, I guess so. I think the Minnesota game is the one that's really stuck in people's craw a little bit. That's probably it. And maybe that was the one you saw coming. I know leading up to that game, I remember you asking me the question about, are we underestimating how much disdain Minnesota has, or how much they really want to take down Nebraska?
No.
And, a fair point to that. But honestly, I think it was the way that game played out, like on a Friday night where, everybody's watching and you gave up the 9 sacks and it even ended, I think, with the sack, like on the last play, you're picking your quarterback off the turf and stuff. It was just that whole scene that I think is right now where they stand at 7-4 is probably the one that's like I always say the wine stain on the white carpet.
BC, I think that's kind of where I landed yesterday with the fan base as well, that if Minnesota doesn't happen, we feel pretty differently about that. But I think there's another factor here. How much differently will you personally feel about a win Friday versus a loss Friday going into the offseason? Because it seems like the fan base in general will have vastly different feelings about this season based on the result Friday.
Yeah, I mean it's huge. It is. It's just like you could say, oh, it's just 8-4 to 7-5, but it's who it's against. It's that dang trophy game too. Like that's part of it. Like people used to make fun of that around here, how the Big Ten had these trophy games. But then you see another squad lifting up. I said this to Brunts the other day. It could be like a red stapler that's like fastened down, and that's what you're playing for. But if some big lineman from the other team across the border is lifting it to the sky after beating you, and they're chanting in your stadium, it just drives you bats. And so it's a combination of all those things. It's as Damon said, that 8-4 bar, and that was a very common one. So there'll be a lot of people who, if they win, they say, well, you know what? I didn't like this or that, but they got to exactly where I said they were going to get, and I'm pretty smart, so they'll be kind of feeling good about calling that shot, and they'll probably go to a pretty decent bowl if they win that game, and you'll have that victory over Iowa, which has been so elusive. So it's like a 4-part whammy about what's at stake on Friday. And if you lose, you do have to take stock of it was a tough November. It was a tough schedule. We knew it was going to be that this month. But, Matt Rule even said a couple weeks ago, this is where people's opinions are affected on a season. And there's no question that's the truth.
So, BC, let me ask you something, because I was just telling this stupid random story, but I'll skip the details. Just picking up some stuff from at the nutrition store yesterday. My buddy asked me a question kind of off topic, and he said, it seems like the couple of games we've been the most disappointed in were games in which preceding we talked about kind of the setup and the scheduling, right? It was the Minnesota talk on the short week. It was the getting in and out of Happy Valley during knowing you have a short week. We've seen Nebraska kind of fight this position of, we need to address what happened in Penn State, but man, we couldn't wait to get out of there soon enough to get to Iowa. They still seem like a team that emotionally hinges on what they hear. Does that seem accurate? I never thought about it until he posed it that way yesterday. But considering I think they have a lot of emotional growth to do where they can do hard things every day, do you think there's something to that?
You're saying it's a team you still think that is pretty affected by whatever narratives.
Yeah, what's going on around them? Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure I think they're still working through that probably. I mean, I'm just basing that off of the results and some of the evidence is like you supply there. I think they've got some guys who are maturing in that way. It's still a young football team, as we've always talked about in a lot of respects. And so that would sort of be natural that you do get caught up in that. But that, you know what, right after the game, I was sort of the mindset, I said this on our little video right afterward, like I could have done with a little more talk about what just happened when you get beat 37-10. But I also, like, the next morning was like, you know what? They know what's at stake this Friday in this game. And I understand from a coaching perspective and the leaders on this team perspective, get your mind when we're on this plane toward this game Friday and let's go do something. Let's go show that we're a better team than we were tonight. We are very capable of that. Let's redirect, and we know the significance of this game. The significance Iowa puts on it. I think Iowa wakes up, every week this time of year thinking, like, how can I rip their hearts out this time? Like, I think they kind of have that mindset in this series because it's sort of what has just been for them. And so Nebraska's got to match that, and they've got to get past whatever's out there this week about what happened Saturday. can't be like in your airspace. You've just got to be like, how am I going to wreck Iowa's weekend? How am I going to make their leftover turkey suck? When they're eating it Saturday. So that's where Nebraska's got to be, and hopefully they've got enough of those guys who have helped pull the reins this week to get that focus on just what's right ahead of them, and not what happened or who's coming in the portal in January, and all that stuff.
I mean, well, BC, it was turkey, so it sucked the first time. It doesn't have to be leftovers. But do you think that there is going to be the same challenge with Iowa, with everything you mentioned there about the way Iowa views this game? Do you think Nebraska will have the same challenge they did against Minnesota in not understanding that going to the table, or does Iowa kind of come with more in an inherent understanding of what this game's about?
That's a good question. I think this Nebraska side gets it completely at this point. That this game it brings it out of you. It kind of makes your blood boil the other side. When they get the best of you. There's been enough things said. You even heard Rule reference it in passing, but reference it like them waving goodbye and saying Merry Christmas, the 2 years ago. There's been a lot of stuff said in pressers, and obviously the whole thing before the game last year. I don't think it's like on these guys' mind every day, but it all adds up. And Heinrich Harburg kind of talked about this. All that stuff is what makes a rivalry at some point, where the Husker fan base has not always wanted to call this a rivalry, but the bottom line is you can't stand the other side. They can't stand you, and you can't stand when they beat you. And that's a rivalry. And so I think these guys know it. And I think these guys will, I think they'll match Iowa in that regard about that intensity for this game. And honestly, I think if you look at the past few years, you would say Nebraska has usually done that in this game, because there have been some seasons, guys, where Iowa's been a step ahead of Nebraska as a program when they played, and Nebraska still went toe-to-toe with them to the very end. So I think the Huskers in many ways have actually kind of stepped up in this game, and played that kind of football. It's just that they've always been in the wrong end with that like last play or two.
When you're talking about, I always talk about this all year, and part of it is just my personality, BC, because I think I've never been the most talented, and I've been on teams, a few. Again, the 95 team is more of an anomaly, but 93, 94, even 96 were teams where we've played against teams that were more talented. So I'm always going to gravitate towards, even though I may not be the best, like I still can lay it on the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can still make poor life choices, but I can still do good things. Like it's just how I'm wired, right? Is that enough when I'm telling you, when I talk about emotional maturity with this team, where I say, if you can just hang in there long enough to make it matter, is there a part of that for this program that they need for long-term sustainability, in your opinion?
Man, that's a good question. Yeah.
Is there a part of that in the Big Ten when you see in Indiana? Because I think that's how Indiana does it. Like we pulled a ton of clips, BC, from Signetti, even his old days. He talks the exact same thing about doing the same thing every day in rigor. The teams that I know will deal Nebraska fits are the teams that do the same thing all the time and embrace rigor. Like, yet we talk talent in the portal. So I'm always trying to balance those two things.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean you need a little bit of all of it. You gotta nail it with your player acquisition, and John Butler talked a little bit about that the other day. Real quick on that, I want to be clear, like from the media standpoint, Sam asked a good question, because what happens is with the access, they'll play a game Friday, and you might not talk to John Butler again. This is no knock on Nebraska, but just the way it works out until like mid-December about things, right? And so in a way, the media is kind of working ahead on stories where that you are interested in, like, sort of the big picture stuff of December and January. But you can have that and then put it over there and then say, also at the same time, these guys right in front of us, they need to do exactly what you're talking about. They need to keep developing these guys that they have. And yes, there's going to be nice supplemental pieces you can find with them, but you've got to have those guys that are doing the hard stuff this week, are going to do the hard stuff in those bowl practices, and understand how big a deal like those 12 to 15 practices can be for their development, and that they love those sort of practices. Like, they feed off of it, knowing that they can get better as a player and how it can help them into 2026. So hopefully you've got a lot more of those guys than maybe you even did a year or two ago. And I think they feel like they're trending that way. But you're always, I'm sure, looking like, do you have those guys with that maturity who love the hard stuff each day? And we talked about this last week on the show, guys. Phil Simpson had that quote, and he's like, this is a hard program. You got to be a person who likes hard stuff. And so I definitely think they're trying to build that in the same way Signetti and those guys are. And they're getting closer, but obviously there's always work to do on that front.
And you know what? He was the first to kind of say it out loud, but Holgorsen kind of doubled down too, man. Do you think they're a little caught off guard or taken aback, or I don't know what the word is. You're better with that than that the standard of embracing doing hard things is totally set by what their head coach has been saying. Like, clearly that's a message in that building, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like you keep hearing it. Like, that's the second or third time I've heard it in the last 3 weeks, right? That's got to be the message that he's trying to send. I'm just trying to figure out why at this juncture in the season is that something that's being said out loud.
Well, I think it's also, Rule said this week, this game isn't as much decided on Friday as the stuff that happened Monday and Tuesday this week.
Yeah.
As like your weight training and your how you did your nutrition and handled all that stuff, all those mat drills, everything that built up to this for 10, 11 months. And I think that's worthwhile to put in guys' minds again too, is like, there were days you were getting up at 5 a.m. January, February, when this seemed so distant, this game, and now it's here. This is what you work for. This is what you did the hard stuff for, is that you've prepared yourself to go toe to toe with these guys, and you can do it. And so I think maybe there could be a little of that. I don't know. I don't want to say too much out of pocket when I'm not inside their walls. But that seems to make sense to me, that you would want to really drive that home. Not that guys don't already know that, but it's just that reminder. Like, this has been a build that you guys have worked hard. We do hard stuff in this program, and it prepares you to be ready to play well in games like this, just like they've prepared, and you're just as equal to that task as they are.
So, BC, as we talk a lot about this Iowa game. We've talked a lot about mentally and kind of emotionally where Nebraska needs to be at. Is there anything on like a football standpoint that you are kind of keying on? I mean, for me, the thing I've been thinking about all week is just how Caden Weechin kind of haunts my dreams a little bit.
Yes.
But outside, like, is that it? Or what are you looking at from a on the field football-y perspective of this?
I mean, honest to goodness, that's a good starting point, Ravi. Like, that kid, he won the Michigan State game. I mean, they just kept punting to him, and it was like a DePornay Pearsonell 2014 special. It's like, here you go.
Seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah, rip our hearts out, and he did. And that kid all year has scared me. Like, I've been worried about him. Now, the good thing is you've got a special teams unit in Nebraska that's confident itself, but I think they're smart, and they'll know how they want to attack him and to try to limit his opportunities. So that's a good thing. Another thing I'm looking for, it's a little bit connected to what John Butler was talking about yesterday, is the red zone defense for Nebraska. He pointed out, which is true, they haven't let teams down there as much. They're like almost top 10 in times teams have had attempts in their red zone, but the opposition has scored 20 out of 27 times touchdowns. And Rule mentioned this in a previous game a couple weeks ago. It was the USC game where they had that series where USC basically tied it late in the third quarter. And remember, there was like 3 plays in a row where Nebraska sort of got on its skates and a big pass play, and then Jaden Maeva kind of ran on them. There's going to be a play in this game or a sequence where Iowa rips off a 35-yard run probably at some point or something like that. Hopefully it's not like the 65-yard house call, but it's that play where they get a nice play. They're feeling good about themselves. You could be a little down on, about what your situation. They're on your 30-yard line. I need to see Nebraska step up in that moment on Friday, like that, not have like that one play lead to like 3 or 4 bad plays, because I do think if you look at the course of the season, there has been a little bit of that, not a ton, but enough of a sampling there that can do you in a game like this where maybe points are at a premium.
BC, so is special teams a thing that you think Nebraska has to win, or can they break that bad boy even and give themselves a chance for, a victory, all everything else being equal for, what you think Iowa brings to the table?
Yeah. I think they can break even and win the game, but the thing I love about what their mindset's going to be under Eckler is that's not just what they're going to shoot for, is just to break even. They're going to think we can break this game open, just like I was thinking that. And it's been a while, I think, since Nebraska's gone into a game with them, probably with that sort of confidence. You had some of those guys. Great stories yesterday, by the way. People should listen and read all about, like Derek Branch and Michael Booker and those guys. And, they're guys Eckler's believed in and saw what their skill set could be. And they were fired up for this game, like the matchup. They know what Iowa's special teams, like the sort of how it's held up high as being a thing that always turns games. And they look at themselves now as that kind of group at Nebraska. And so I think they can win it, Damon, if it's just like sort of a standoff. And honestly, if you hold their punt returner to just a minimal, output, that's winning in a big way for Nebraska because he's such a field flipper. But I like that Nebraska will go into it thinking, hey, we could get you Corey Barney loose just as well as they're thinking they can do it for their guy.
Is this the first time, BC, that you think Nebraska has a fighting chance to at least play even on special teams with Iowa?
Yeah. At least going in the game where you're just like hoping, wishing, praying, you in the past. I mean, you think back to I was going through the list of games, the 6 in a row Iowa's won in Memorial Stadium, like 21 under Frost, 2021. Nebraska was up 21-9. I almost forgot all about that game. They had a punt blocked, and then they gave up a safety, and Iowa just had all the momentum. So, that Iowa's sort of always feeding off the idea that play is just around the corner for them. So the fact that Nebraska goes into a game not overconfident, I think, respectful, knowing Iowa's dangerous there, but also saying, so are we. That's the first time in a long time we've thought that. And it's interesting. Actually, special teams is such a part of this series because, 2014, since then, Iowa's won 9 of the last 10. Everybody's heard all that. But that was, of course, the game where they kicked the DeMorte Pearson-El twice, and everybody was knocking Ferentz for what's this guy knucklehead doing, like in their special teams. And so ever since then, there's been some payback. So it's good that Nebraska at least goes to the game where you feel like it's an equal footing or then some.
BC, I guess very simple question. How do you think this one goes?
I think this one goes down to the final 5 minutes, like most of these the last 7 years, and I'm going to pick Nebraska to win it. I
think I might too. I'm close. I'll
Yeah.
give it a little time. I'm close.
I think Nebraska is going to get off the mat from Saturday. I think they did very quickly. Is my sense, and I don't know. I just have a feeling they're going to play up, and TJ, this is his first home start. I like that for him. It wasn't the easiest thing. Yeah, of course, he was going home to UCLA the first game, so that was a little bit better setting. But he's had 2 road starts. That's a tough way to get into it, and one of them's at Penn State. So I look forward to him having the home crowd behind him. I think the 11 a.m. kickoff is actually maybe a little bit nice for Nebraska in the sense that I wonder if it negates some of the Iowa fans that come in for the game. But anyway, all that said, I think Nebraska will hang in there and make that extra play. So I'll pick Nebraska in a tight one.
There you go. That is Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7 BC. Appreciate the time as always. Hope you have a terrific Thanksgiving, bud.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thank you.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Hyundai. Give thanks and get driving. Lease the 2025 Hyundai Tucson SE all-wheel drive starting at $269 a month. Built to make every mile smarter. Or step up to the 2026 Hyundai Palisade SEL Convenience all-wheel drive. Lease starting at $389 a month. Room for everyone, comfort for every trip. Don't miss these Black Friday savings. Hurry to Edwards Hyundai before they're gone. Learn more at edwardshyundai.com.
Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska. Tim, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
We're doing good. Here comes DB. There we go. He gets distracted. He went out and talked to some people, and so, it's all right.
Tim, do you really want to know what happened?
Yeah, talk to me.
This fits my personality. So for months, my fob hasn't worked, and it finally got updated this morning. So I'm getting all the uses of my fob out of the way this morning. I've walked outside. I've scanned the door twice. I walked the parking lot. I stopped on 2. I'm just enjoying the newfound freedom of my fob.
Making the rounds.
That is 100% what I just did. I made up a reason to go get to my car.
Tim, let me ask you this. We're having a food discussion earlier. What's your favorite fruit?
Ooh, favorite fruit. I'm partial to a really, really good mango.
They're so hard to find right.
Okay.
High
But
risk, high reward.
exactly. That's the thing. It's very hit or miss, and if you miss, it's not nearly as good. I think most consistent. I've really come around on strawberries as of late. I wasn't a strawberry kid growing up, but yeah.
TV, is there a fruit where you love the flavor but don't eat? What, you guys? You make me insecure.
Don't look at them. Don't look at them. We need like a two-way glass so that you can't see them.
Is there a fruit that you like as a flavor but you don't really rock with the fruit?
I love raspberry, the flavor. I'm very hit or miss on raspberry, the fruit, because of the texture.
Yeah.
Oh, big texture guy. You in or out on Jell-O?
I'm in on Jell-O. I was a Jell-O kid.
Yeah, I had some grits in Pennsylvania where I put the fork on the plate and it stood perfectly still. I was mortified. The flavor was outstanding. The texture, oh boy.
That's too thick for grits. What are we doing?
What about you? Is there a flavor you rock with but don't eat the fruit?
Yeah, so ironically enough, we were talking about this earlier. I don't necessarily care for peaches, but I love like the little peach rings. I love peach rings.
I think peach is hard to get right.
Yeah, like the flavor. Yeah, it's not everything, but I love a peach ring.
My go-tos of any flavor, whether it's gummy, whatever.
Yeah,
peach, apple, strawberry.
See, I like apples. I don't like apple flavored things.
Oh man, that's mine.
Like it almost always messes up. But I'll do I like apples. I like apple pie. I like all apple desserts. But the apple flavored like candies and stuff, I can't do.
You like turtles?
I like turtles.
TV, let me ask you something. How did you look at Coach? We'll start with Coach Butler. How did you look at him taking the presser yesterday? Was it I told you so's? Is it why now? Is it, oh, okay, let's see how this is applicable to Iowa? Like, what were some of the takeaways with how forthright he was?
I think it's interesting. I think it's just I thought a lot of it was, you felt that way about, Rule, Butler the last couple of weeks. I really think you're feeling it now where I think part of it is they've it's not putting your hands in necessarily, but based on what you want to do defensively, like the changes to see significant progress and change to the run defense at this point will take personnel changes offseason and like having the time to step back and really look at things where they don't really have that now. And I think that's part of I think the tone of yesterday was just like, yeah, we just kind of have to recalibrate and try again on Friday. But like, if you want to see real progress at this point, like it's coming in the off, it'll have to happen in the off season.
Banana's a good one. I like the flavor. I hate the fruit.
I use, I ride with Travis. I'm with him on the mangoes thing. I love a good mango.
Mhm.
Mango flavor. I avoid like the bubonic.
Mm.
The
plague.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry, Tiviana. I don't want to get too distracted.
Let me ask.
I know because immediately Austin was thinking, "Ooh, the chronic." No, man, I'm past that, Austin. I don't smoke. Because I felt like, all right, how applicable is kind of what he's saying to what they're going to do against Iowa? Because I don't care if it's 3, 4, or 5 down. They tried it all. Almost very little 3 down in State College. It's still going to be about violence at the point of attack and getting to where you need to be. Can you see that being something that is significantly better in 5 days?
Yeah, it depends on, again, players. Like, I mean, coaches, obviously it's on them to kind of rally, but I think they've made their point. I think they've conveyed the sense of urgency and just what needs to happen. I think it needs to happen with the play. Like I feel like I've repeated myself a few times over the last couple of weeks, but it just kind of feels like at this point it's execution and it's on like, yeah, players to get off the line and kind of harp on the coaching points, get off the line quicker, strike, you know what I mean? Like tackle, get into right pursuit, like all this stuff is coach. It's not like they're not doing these things in practice, you know what I mean? But it's more so just the execution of it, where is again, from a tone standpoint, I think there's a little frustration there too that it's not happening maybe like it is in practice, maybe like they're seeing in practice, and it's not like what they're doing in practice isn't necessarily translating to the field in terms of the consistent execution.
Tim, let me ask you this. If I take Minnesota off the table, because I think we all agree on that one, which loss bothers you the most this year?
I mean, I thought about, I mean, we talked about this, me and Steve and Zach this weekend. USC, even though like you can put your hands up and say Dylan got hurt and like a lot, the tone of that game changed with the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
If that screen to Ja'Cory hits, I think that game potentially changes. I think the tone of the season and the momentum of this team potentially changes down the stretch. And how we're talking about this team at this point in the year potentially changes. Now, does that change the overall, like, okay, what do we think zooming out bigger picture? I mean, zooming out bigger picture, I think it's for me, there's some stuff in the Michigan game where it's like, okay, like there were signs there that on both sides of the line of scrimmage, Nebraska still has a bit to go to compete with the top end of the conference, because you turned around and saw that and saw Michigan where they stand in the conference, where they're still trying to punch up against the Ohio States and the Oregons and the USCs of the world, where they went to USC. And, so I think that's the one where from an overall big picture, what this team needs to do and where this team is, yeah, there's still a bit to go along the lines of scrimmage.
All right. So TV, I always talk about where these guys are emotionally, right? I know people get mad at me, but it definitely matters with this team. Otherwise, they wouldn't talk about it so much. Is there a game in a similar fashion where you think, okay, I'll take this mindset this Friday to give us the chance to win, since we do know that the mental makeup does seem to kind of buoy from week to week?
I thought, I mean, honestly, like, Cincinnati's a weird one, but like just those games where they've had the stick-to-itiveness through 4 quarters. Michigan State, Northwestern, like that stuff where that fight has been there, and there's been this like
it's given me Northwestern vibes.
Yeah, like you've seen, like, yeah, exactly. Like late in the 3rd, 4th quarter, like the leaders on the team are stepping up and clearly want this.
Tim, if you sorry, DB's shooting hoops over here. I got distracted. Trying to see if he made it. He did not.
DB, the worst thing that my employer decided to do was to have these shows in headquarters because I'm much more disciplined at the old spot. There's just too much freedom for a guy with an attention span like mine. There's looking glass. There's trash receptacles. There's couches. There's these weird walls. Like there's bright lights. It's sensory overload.
Tim, let me get to recruiting here for a second before we get on a little bit more to Iowa. We haven't had a really chance to talk about this at all this week. Big commitment of Amir Brown earlier over the weekend. Real quick before we get into who's left in terms of I think DB just changed the screen there a little bit. Can we put there we go. Before we get to visitors and who's left on the schedule and things like that, just tell me a little bit about what Nebraska's getting with Amir Brown.
Yeah, like he's a guy that I think you're going to see in this offseason. Going to see, I think, a nice bump up in the rankings just based on what he did as a junior, and his overall profile and what you're really looking for in college football these days at the running back position. Like he's a guy that this staff is comped to Emmett Johnson. We've talked a couple other backs, just a modern back of. He brings that modern, runs with a low, kind of center of gravity, changes directions quickly, powerful between the tackles, and it is pretty explosive, and has some long-term upside as like an every down back. Like I think he's a guy that you start off in like these short yardage situations because of just his violence and just the explosiveness in that short area. But he's fully capable, it's heavy personnel. He breaks 1-2 tackles, like he's fully capable of housing that thing. He's got that long and speed. For him, it's a lot of still continuing to develop. He's got good vision, but I think developing just the continuing to harp on just the shiftiness between the tackles, working through traffic, not bouncing things outside too early. But I think he does a lot of stuff at a really high level, and I think this program should be really excited about this edition because this is a guy that they've had a pretty big 27 running back board. They're going to take at least one more here in the 27 cycle. But Brown was the guy that they offered mid-season based on what they had seen from him. While he was still committed to North Carolina, he decommitted, made 2 visits to Nebraska, and flipped, not moved very quickly compared to some of the other targets they have on the board. But you look at what he can do as a pass catcher in the short area, and then again down the line as he continues to develop what he can be as an every down back. A lot of reason to be excited just because you can see a world where 3-4 years down the line he's working at like in an Emmett Johnson kind of role.
So let me ask you something, TV. As you look at Nebraska's roster, what you think, and I guess we'll wait on the portal, but we can speculate here a little bit. You've reconciled what was going to happen in the 26th class. Anomaly, something, nothing. It was always going to be small. When you look at the roster, could you see how this was going to break out all along?
Just in terms of this class being this small?
Yeah.
I don't think I even anticipated this small. Like I thought they'd get to maybe 15, but I think assessing their strategy, I've sat on it for a couple of days just because there's a lot happening over the last couple. But assessing the strategy over the last couple of weeks and all of that, I think there's a certain point of return relative to where this program needs to be in 26 and how young the roster is and the limited spots you have. And okay, like you have these limited spots available. What do you want to do with them? I think there's a sense of not cutting your losses necessarily, but you look at the resources you have, you look at what you need to address. And I think what it was maybe at the beginning of the season, what they felt they would need to address this offseason is different now. I think they know now they maybe need a little more at defensive line, linebacker, like they need a little more. So I think there's an element of them entering some of these recruitments and backing off and like pulling the plug on some of this, late in the 26 effort is conserving some of these both rev share numbers, like conserving from a financial standpoint, conserving resources there and conserving roster spots to address imminent needs along a young developing roster that they believe is generally as an overall roster like a year away, like 26 all these guys will be a year further, all these young guys on the roster will be a year further, and you complement that with and I think that's something that's still like evolving even over the last 2 weeks. Like they made JUCO offers like 2 weeks ago that this past weekend they were like, just got word that they're moving on from. Like it wasn't put to me that those guys canceled Nebraska visits. It was Nebraska canceled those visits, and it wasn't a spin. And talking to the players on that side, I guess that was how it was put to them too. Was Nebraska kind of assessed where the money was at with those guys, how those guys would maybe fit in the roster, and decided to move. So this is an evolving thing where I think at this point they look at what they need to address. They look at where the roster's at currently, and I think they're pooling most of their resources here for the transfer portal and addressing those needs in the portal.
TV, we're going to get Pat Stewart for our recruiting special for the network. What would you ask him? Would it be more to do with allocations or kind of the value of each of the allocations in terms of where they would like to spend?
I think the value, because I kind of have it like allocations. I think he'd tell you this. I think everyone would tell you this. It depends on the talent, depends on the player, depends on the impact, depends on all of that. Like the full, you need the full picture, and so I'd ask the second part of that, which would be, what positions are you willing to spend beyond what your ideal limit would be to get an impact player? Like if you're at the negotiating table, with he's not entering the portal again, but like a Jamal Jarrett or one of these big time defensive tackles that ended up at one of these big time programs, at what point do you say, okay, our hands are up, like we're off of that? Because Nebraska knows they have resources in certain things where they don't need to be the highest bidder necessarily. It's good to have that. Like that's the way I've put it to people. When Rules talked about the, needing the resources, it's not necessarily about having the resources to go out and bag guys, because that's not how this program's ever going to operate. But it's about having a seat at the table. Last year, I put it on X yesterday. Last year, you look back at the portal, who was there at defensive tackle? Nebraska, this who's going to replace Ty and Nash? The guys that were actually capable of doing that, there's like a handful of those guys that actually entered the portal last year. And those guys ended up at places like Texas Tech.
Are you talking about like second-year Ty or six-year Ty?
Six-year Ty.
Okay.
Yeah, like that level, like that kind of player. Like, because they, that is what the comment was yesterday was, Nebraska knew they were losing Nash and Ty. Why did they tried? Like they went into the portal looking for impact defensive tackles. The guys that were capable of having that type of impact, there were only a handful of those guys really in the portal, and those guys ended up at Texas Tech, Oregon, Texas, USC, the programs that spend money, that the elite spenders. And so when Rule talks about wanting money, it's not about having the money so you can go bag those guys. It's about having the seat at the table, because those guys entered the portal, immediately they were like, hey, it's these 6 or 7 schools. No one else can even meet this limit. Now Nebraska can say, hey, we can actually meet you there. And from there, we will
at least they'll have the choice whether to say,
yes,
yeah, we want to do this or not.
They want the choice. Exactly. They want the choice to be like, okay, hey, we have a seat at the table. You want to come visit and check us out? They're not going to take anybody for the sake of taking anybody. Like Boo Carter's in the portal right now, talented defensive back from Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams would love to have that guy, but you need to do your due diligence and homework and make sure that guy's fits in your locker room. So Nebraska's not going to do that necessarily, but that's what I'm really curious, I think, from Stewart's end as they enter the portal this cycle is program. I think defensive tackle is one of those positions where there may not be a number. There may be a thing of, I don't think there's a cap on what that impact can, like what an impactful player at the defensive tackle position, what that can have for the rest of our defense. Because, okay, hypothetically, you add an impact defensive tackle to this roster, what that does to elevate Keona Davis and Williams and Renari and Kate Petra, and the guys around him, I don't know what number you put on that. So that's what I'm curious to ask. But then there's other positions like, hey, if Emmett does leave for the NFL, what's your number at running back? And how many do you add? How do you look to address running back if Emmett Johnson declares for the NFL draft?
TV, how would you talk me off the ledge? I wouldn't even be on the ledge, but I would, because the portal talk is fine, right? I'm okay with the portal talk, and you have to supplement as long as it doesn't supplant, because I still think this is a developmental program. How would you explain to me, like I'm 5, that you can supplement in the portal, but don't let yourself off the hook with development, because at the end of the day, Nebraska made a conscious effort. They looked at the defensive line, and I get the effort. You may have tried to get this guy, but there was a style in which they wanted to play, right? And it was going to be a movement front, and they wanted to do a lot of things. So I think there's this critical piece where they have to ask themselves, okay, why did this not go the way that we wanted to? Was it an eval thing? Is it a psych profile? Is it like there's things that go into the development portion that coaches need to be held responsible for that isn't in correlation with the portal? How do you and I have that conversation?
Yeah. So I think part of it goes into a bigger conversation of I wonder if the tone of these last few press conferences from Butler and Rule hint at some philosophical changes to the front seven, like changing how they like instead of being a quick attacking front, being like obviously getting bigger, but being more of a two gapping front and playing that way where you are still able to, play relatively light in the box against the teams that, you're worried are going to throw over you and still be able to defend the run at a high level. And again, I think that's something that is evolving and shifting. And so that's part of that conversation is, well, they're changing. Well, hypothetically, if they are changing that, well, they need to you can't pack the pounds on some of the guys, and like those guys fit something of a different personnel. You can figure out how to utilize, because there's roles for those guys and figuring out how to use those guys around them. But you'd have to change personnel a little bit up front. The second part of that is, okay, well, let's say they don't really change a whole lot, but they do add. Well, I think next year, again, I talk about you add a bigger time defensive tackle to the defensive line room that has a Keona Davis and a Williams Imanari and a Katie Petroff. Nebraska taking a step forward as a defense isn't just that individual guy's addition. It's the guys around him taking a marginal step forward. And all three of those guys are guys that have been better and have clearly been developed at Nebraska. And that's where I would say that's the push and pull. And then you look at, in the secondary and other positions where like the secondary, I don't anticipate a whole lot of addition. They may make one splash one, but again, it's one to elevate everybody else around it. Rex Guthrie and guys in that secondary will look better when they're playing next to athletes that are much better. That's not to say they aren't right now. I think Deshaun Singleton's playing at a very high level. I think even regardless of the loss on Saturday and some of the issues, I think Deshaun Singleton played very well. I think there's individuals in that defense that are playing at a very high level. I hope that makes sense, of just like you add an impact player and the marginal development of everybody else is what overall elevates the play of the overall unit. And that's where development comes in. And that's how a lot of rosters are built. That's how, like in this day and age, like how, like a lot of even good units.
I'm going to die on the whole. You don't have to necessarily be bigger. You have to be better.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I'm going to land that goddamn plane there. I'm over the size talk, right? Like be better.
For sure. Okay, like I had this conversation yesterday with my buddy that covers Oklahoma. Venables finds these sawed-off, relatively average, not impressive-looking pass rushers and turns them into like R. Mason Thomas, Taylor, like the guys that they're getting edge production from. And it's always guys that they're not the physical freaks. They're not but that's Venables and he knows what to do. And he's had success with those kind of those specific guys in that specific role for years. That's what I think the next step forward for Nebraska is figuring that out. And I think they had an idea, like early on you had, in the first 2 years of Rule under Tony White, I think you had a sawed-off kind of edge that played that role at a pretty good level. MJ Sherman, and you saw a little bit of that last year too, from I think Prince Will as well. I thought you saw again in flashes, in moments, not necessarily consistently, but you saw stuff like that. I think overall as a team, I think there's overall going to be an assessment of mentality, want to, and what it takes to play in this defense, assignment sound. It's tough. It's tough to play assignment sound defense in the way the staff asks consistently. You have to be wired a specific way. I think there are guys in this building, that are playing at a high level in this defense that can do that and are doing that. But it takes all 11. And right now, all 11, I don't think all 11 are at that level consistently.
Tim, if we're going portal shopping and I say I can guarantee you an all Big Ten player at one of these two spots, interior linebacker or somewhere on the defensive line, which one are you taking? Based on assume everybody that's on the roster right now that you like is coming back.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think if you can guarantee that level of play, I think I would weirdly say no, I'd still say D-line just because what that would do and open up for the athletes you have in the back. Back there, I do anticipate like Dawson Merritt to continue developing and Vincent Shavers to continue developing, but what again like a Big Ten level defensive lineman can do to open up linebackers at the second level in terms of reading and playing and some of the stuff Nebraska has struggled with in this year, in my opinion, has been not having or not having the length and the size and the athleticism and the overall instincts at the linebacker position to consistently fill those holes. I would say defensive line because of what that opens up for the linebackers at the second level. But I can see the argument for both. I just think at this point, like what a defensive lineman, an all Big Ten level defensive lineman does for any defense, but what it can do for what I do think are good athletes that are still somewhat figuring it out at the second level, young guys in the defense that are figuring it out at the second level. I think what they could do for them and make things easier on them, like what the impact of Nash and Ty had on John Bullock, and what that could do hypothetically for like Dawson Merritt and Vincent Shavers next year.
So let me ask you this. Out of the guys that we expect to be on the roster next year already, do you think it's more likely that there is currently an all Big Ten player out of that group on the defensive line or out of that group from the linebackers?
I can see again. It depends on what you add, because when I even say adding someone around Keona, maybe just my personal belief in Keona Davis and Williams and Minari specifically. If you add I'm not even saying let's say not a Big Ten, a Big Ten conference level, but just a true plug and play, girthy defensive tackle that can take up multiple blocks, what that could hypothetically do for Keona Davis and Williams and Minari if they're locked in on their development and take a step forward. I think Keona and even Williams in flashes are both capable of that, of being those kind of players.
More so than anybody in the linebacking room next year?
I think so. But that's just that. Yeah, I think so. Would you all disagree?
Well, I wonder what elite athleticism at linebacker looks like.
So that's why I asked the question, right? I agree that I think if I just take next year, I think it's more likely that one of the guys in the defensive line room becomes an all-conference player than someone in the linebacking room. But that's why I asked the question the way I did, because I do wonder what an elite athlete at inside linebacker looks like with this defense, because I do think that's been a factor here.
I don't know necessarily if he's elite, but I do think Dawson Merritt's a high-end athlete. I think I do like watching him move around and do things. I do think, especially as he continues to get wiser and see the field more and do that, I think he is down the line capable. Is that going to happen in his sophomore year? I don't think so, but I think that's 3-4, year 3, year 4 down the line. I think he's a guy that, again, maybe not an elite athlete, but when you pair high-end athleticism with the instincts he does have, and as that continues to pair, as the eyes translate to the college level, I can see that guy being, down the line. But that's a down the line and banking on development going right conversation.
Yeah, I think to that, and I'll let you get out of here on this, Tim. I think for me, I'd like to see the athleticism, the twitchiness on the second level improve. But if I could wave the magic wand for an interior guy to make the next step, because I'm sick of hearing about the whole Ty Nash thing with 6-year Ty Robinson versus second or third year Ty Robinson. Give me some development from a guy like Riley Van Poppel for next year, and let me see what that looks like before I hit the panic button.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I think I'm glad you keep bringing up it's 6-year Ty Robinson, because I think it's an important distinction to make, and I think that's something that a lot of people around here don't acknowledge, even myself, enough of it was year 6 for him, 1, and 2, a guy playing at that level in year 6, like just again the age, the advantages he had, and all, like it's tough to find that. Like I'm telling you, go look in the portal right now.
Like Jaden Jackson at Oklahoma, he's a senior. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, like it takes time for these guys to get to this point of like you look at again at the recruiting level, like we see these guys come in with like these top 10 or 5-star defensive linemen, and it takes 2-3 years for these guys to really figure it out and click on the feet. Like Nebraska just a couple of weeks ago saw Jakeem Stewart at USC, and that guy's playing rotational snaps as a year 1 5-star defensive lineman, and when he wins, he is solely winning off athleticism. There's not a whole lot else happening for him besides when he wins, it's just he is the much better athlete than the guy lined up across from him. That guy's going to be a monster in year 3 or 4 if he stays locked in. But what it looks like right now is not that of like a necessarily like a 5-star player because of what you're getting on a snap-to-snap basis. Because sometimes he just gets ragdolled out of the play. Sometimes he's not in the right run fit. Sometimes he's completely washing himself out of the play. But other times, just off the sole athleticism, he's in the backfield before the quarterback's even handed it off to the right. But you know what? Like that is just it takes time for these guys to develop. But at that position, it's a very hard position to develop. It's why, despite the loud noise, I continue to be bullish on Terry Braden, the long-term recruiter and relationship builder, because he builds good relationships. He establishes a level of belief in these guys, and you've seen what that can do for a guy like Cade Petchuk in year 1. And like again, like Malcolm Simpson and Tyson Terry are not playing. They counted on those guys, at least one of those guys, having an impact in the rotation this year. How much does that help necessarily? I don't know, but that's another bigger body you could have thrown in there. And I think very, very, very
it's still not ideal to be playing a freshman or
no,
a
definitely not. It's certainly
not.
And certainly not. But that is the situation that Terry Braden and John Butler inherited. It's not a situation that they had much control over necessarily. You know what I mean? Like that's what they inherited. And so it's something that's not ideal. It's something that down the line, yeah, they want the long-term outlook on this room, I think, is still positive if these guys continue to develop. It's a big if. It's a big, make sure these guys are locked in and stick around at this program. But I am bullish on Terry Braden, the developer, the coaching points he has, the way he believes in his guys, and what he like. Again, the relationships he's built, and the 27 and 28 recruits you talk to that he's working on, they do speak very, very highly of him. But I understand people want instant results, and they want things to happen. It doesn't happen that way at the defensive line. They're kind of banking on a longer term development with the overall room, and that is why I think a part of the calculus changes into this offseason, where I think you do need to add an instant impact player to accelerate the development of the guys around them to kind of bring all of this into a circle.
Tim, let you go on this. How do you think how you seen it go against Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's another one of those, like, another one of those games. You got to stop the run. You got to play physical. You got to play through 4 quarters. I have no based on what we've seen from Iowa, and the records will say one thing. Based on what I've seen from Iowa this year, based on what I've seen from Nebraska this year, I feel like it's going to be another 1-score game that comes down to the very, very end. Just based on what we've seen, have to kind of favor Iowa here, but I genuinely think at this point, I think home crowd advantage is going to matter in this game. I think Nebraska and the guys in the room in the program understand the sense of urgency here. I think the immediate turning of the page post Penn State was intentional. I wouldn't even be surprised if a lot of
weird balance, isn't it? It's super intentional.
It's very intentional of like this, hey, like dial in because like this is an opportunity here, and like, hey, like I mean, like Damon, like, and then honestly, like again, the coaching staff's never going to say that. Honestly, at what point in that Penn State game do you think the staff was like, all right, on to Iowa? Like, at what point in the game was it just like, because that is a winnable, based on what you can't coach your way out of the deficit they got themselves into with the personnel you have. And
by the time he took the podium, it clearly was a thing. Because I don't even think, like, how many players did they make available? A couple?
Yeah, it was a handful.
I'm telling you, we were 45 minutes ahead of schedule getting out of there.
Yeah.
Keeping it a buck.
Yeah, but no, like I think part of that, all of that is
I just talk about Jaden Jackson too. I'm talking, the Dominic Williams, the Roy guys, the Grayson Holtons, those guys at OU, because Jackson had the 1 year at IMG too. So I would technically call him like a super soft, but like those guys are older, and their rotation. Everybody talks about that deep front at Oklahoma. Because I use them as an example of because you use Venables in terms of his development. Like our Mason Thomas he can't be but like 255, right? There's this style in which you can play that lends itself to negating actual like girth. And I tell these guys like restrict holes, violent hands, good feet, and trust. Like you can stop the run by starting there. It doesn't have to be this mythical put it in a lab, pour it out kind of thing. I mean, Indiana and Iowa stop the run, and they don't do it with 300-pounders. So it can be done.
No, but I would also say like the Oklahoma point's good because Demonic Williams was one of those like big body. He's a really good player.
He's like, what is he? He's the plug guy you're talking about, like the 6'1", 320 guy.
You plug that kind of guy in and what that did for the rest of the room around him, because Oklahoma needed that. Oklahoma, the defensive line play under Brent Venables there before Williams got there, there were flashes, again, from individuals in that room. They weren't playing as an overall unit the way Brent Venables' D-lines traditionally play.
Yeah.
That's our guy, Tim Verghese, Inside Nebraska. Tim, appreciate the time as always. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you later.
Thanks,
Tim. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Appreciate y'all.
The Black Friday sales event is on at Edwards Kia. Give thanks and get driving. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at $299 a month with zero down. That's zero down starting at $299 a month for the 2026 Kia Sportage. Bold style and tech-savvy comfort. Or upgrade to the 2025 Kia Telluride LX 4-wheel drive. Lease starting at $379 a month with just $999 down. Space, safety, and unmistakable style. Don't wait. These Black Friday savings end soon at Edwards Kia.
Welcome back. Hurrdat Sports, live presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's me. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar. Oh, not at the bar yet. Almost made it the whole show.
Almost. No, we still. No. And I ain't close. Like, you shot your shot in the first hour. You got no margin for it now.
It's 8:03. We're in the second hour. It doesn't count. Let's talk to our guy, Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews, joining us now. Brett, how are we doing this morning?
Morning, guys, and an early happy Thanksgiving to you and all the listeners. Thanks for having me on. It's rivalry week. We have a lot at stake coming up this weekend.
Yeah, it's around here. It is very tense with the disdain for Iowa, with Nebraska coming off the heels of how they played against Penn State. I'm not so sure it's as transitive property as that. But what do you think when you look at what transpired at State College versus what you think could happen in Lincoln?
Well, a little bit of bad luck with how all of a sudden Penn State was the playoff team we all expected they were going to be. I don't know why it took till week 11 and specifically this game, but they played like the team we all thought we were signing up for back in August. The star running backs both shined. You had Katron Allen break the Penn State career rushing record. His co-running back there, Singleton, broke the touchdowns record of Saquon Barkley. Defense was nasty. So Penn State, they if you played them maybe a month ago, it could have been a different result. I don't know why all of a sudden they flex their muscle like that. But you go back to Lincoln, you get an Iowa challenge here, and I think it's going to be a closer game than that outcome. And but similar type of team with Iowa, you're going to get defense and run game. So hopefully they make the adjustments needed in this short week.
Brett, as you kind of look, you mentioned it's rivalry week. Is there a particular game that stands out to you? There's a couple where the lines don't seem totally right, but I'm curious what you're looking at, and if there's, between, the Egg Bowl, Texas A&M, Ohio State, Michigan.
Ohio State's laying a big number.
Which game are you looking at and you're like, that intrigues you the most?
Yeah, it's a lot of talk about the playoff this time of year, but there's so many other storylines outside of it. I mean, if you're looking at the conference title game scenarios, you got 18 Power Four teams that are still alive for their conference titles. If you were into the gambling side of this, there's 17 teams that are make or break for their win total for the season coming down to the final week. Nebraska, one of those at 7.5. But then on the field, yeah, you got 14 rivalry trophies up for grabs. I love that kind of stuff with the game. And some of those games you mentioned there don't even have a trophy. But I'm most excited for the three you actually mentioned, the Egg Bowl, just to see the Lane Kiffin situation there. If they win, they'll likely host a playoff game in Oxford at the nation's best tailgate spot. With A&M and Texas, this rivalry went away for about a decade. It's been bitter ever since, and it was before too. And now you got everything on the line for A&M. If they win, they go to the SEC title game for the first time ever. And then Ohio State, Michigan. And normally you'd overlook this as a double-digit underdog, Michigan, but that's kind of been the story the last 4 times they've played. Michigan, big underdogs, and they keep beating the Buckeyes. So while Ryan Day has his national title, he still has his Michigan problem. So we'll see how that looks. So those are the three. But really, anything with a trophy on the line or any kind of a win total spread is interesting to me. And this week in Pick 6 Plus, I put pictures of every single trophy that's on the line if you're curious. There's some cool ones out there.
Let me ask you something, Brett. You mentioned, excuse me, Coach Kiffin and what surrounds what's going on in Oxford. How much do you think it benefits the fact that so many players are new and they're more attached to him from the recruiting out of the portal standpoint than they are committed to Ole Miss when it comes to being locked in? Is it more about being on the Lane train, or is it about Ole Miss? Because those two may not be the same thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's one of those topics we're still a little early on. We don't know how quickly these 1-year rental players, I'd hate to call them that, but you think of it that way, where they come in for the transfer for 1 year and then they leave in 6 months later. How can a locker room gel that quickly? We've seen it happen both ways, good and bad. Sometimes a big transfer haul, there's no cohesion. They don't play hard for each other. In other cases, look at Texas Tech. They're booming. Ole Miss, I mean, he's had them here. You don't even have to leave this program. They've been competitive every year with Lane Kiffin. So I don't really know. I could do all my stats and numbers, but it's really just behind the scenes locker room stuff. I know that they're well aware of the Lane Kiffin head coaching search drama, but maybe they just hunker down and play for each other and say, you know what, no matter what happens, we have each other, and let's go bring home a playoff game to Oxford. So I think it's a little overdone with the line change here. I think it comes in at 8 points. I've got it at 14.5 for Ole Miss, and of course, my game grader doesn't know anything about a head coaching search happening, but I think that's a little overdone with Vegas dropping it a full touchdown.
So that was my next question here, is because this line feels incredibly light. And I mean, 14, you said 14.5 on your game grader, or 14.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that sounds about right to me. I look at this and I go, okay, something smells way off. What do you do in this situation? Is it like, hey, I trust my game grader, versus, because like you said, it doesn't really take into account the extracurriculars of what's going on around this matchup?
Yeah, and I have a couple things I look at here. I mean, the 14.5 is the whole season if you average all 11 games together plus my formula. If you look at just the last 4 games, which I also like to look at, kind of a recent look, the gap gets even bigger. I mean, it's up to about 18, 19 points. So I know every case is different. If you talk about a quarterback who's injured, or a couple star players that are knocked out of a lineup, this one's a little bit different, where it's a head coach, a public head coach search happening. No one's injured. It's still the same 22 players. They've both had a bye week to prepare. So even with some interview drama, I'm sure the coordinators have been locked in for 13 days. And so I trust that it'll go over the 8.5 points. I think they're going to be locked in. They have everything to play for. I know Mississippi State's good in the spoiler role, but I trust what I've seen from 11 games from Ole Miss. I think they're going to get their points. They're going to run the ball really well with Kewan Lacey. Mississippi State a bottom 10 rushing defense. Sorry, so defending Kewan Lacey and Trinidad Chambliss, I think Ole Miss is going to get their points and yards.
Let me ask you something. If you had to predict today, is Bama in or out?
Oh, I'd say Bama in. Yeah, they well, assuming they beat Auburn, which now that's looking like a tight matchup too. But let's say they beat Auburn, they'll be 10-2. And I think if you're comparing all these 10-2 resumes, you got Oklahoma might be in the mix there, Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame. And BYU if they were to lose their conference title, which I project. So out of those 5 2-loss teams, I think you could argue Oklahoma and Bama have the 2 best resumes. I know everyone loves the Notre Dame metrics right now and their ranking, but Alabama with 4 ranked wins, that's still going to hold a lot of weight from the committee. So I think you go definitely Oklahoma and Alabama at the top there. And then you got to pick one out of Miami, Notre Dame, and BYU. And that's going to be a heck of a puzzle for the committee to figure out.
Now, according to Vegas, they'd have to pull the monumental upset. But safe to say if Michigan beats Ohio State, Bama's out, correct?
If Michigan beats Ohio State, I don't know. I think Alabama might still be in there. So you'd have a good discussion there between Bama and
that'd be tough.
That'd be tough. Now, I'll tell you who's definitely in will be Oklahoma because they would have head-to-head over both Alabama and Michigan. So they have both head-to-head cards. You lock them in.
I don't worry about Oklahoma. Oklahoma wins out. I think they're in.
Oh, I agree. I think that, like I said, out of those 5 teams, they would have the most compelling resume given those head-to-heads, and they had the hardest schedule. I remember talking back during the preview magazine and back in August, we were calling this one of the hardest schedules that we've ever seen. It was them and Florida from the SEC had the hardest draws of all time. So for them to go 10-2 and get some impressive wins there, going into Knoxville, going into Tuscaloosa, they definitely deserve. But if you're looking at how many spots are left, I mean, it was supposed to be out of those 5, you pick 3. Let's say Michigan joins that thing. So then you got to pick 3 out of 6, and it's going to get really crowded there. So I don't think Notre Dame was a lock by any means. I know everyone has them penciled in and sharpied in there. It's just there's a lot more action going on here. I think that it's still a question.
Man, I'm praying for chaos. If not, but it doesn't have to be super chaotic. I just want Michigan to find a way to beat Ohio State because I think that throws the committee as much in a state of like that's the one win.
It beats every other win.
That would really shake this whole thing up where they would have to let you know what they think is the most important in terms of good wins or bad losses. It would clean it up the most, I think, if I wanted to know what the committee values.
Yeah, and that's one of the frustrating parts I've had about the committee era of college football playoffs is just it seems like their logic changes year to year for sure, but then even week to week sometimes. I mean, they'll come out and say that they're going to reward Utah for their good losses, but even though they don't have any ranked wins, but then the next year it'll be about, well, they went out and challenged themselves with ranked wins. So I don't know. It's very confusing. That'll throw a wrench in there. And I'll tell you what else it would do. It would throw a wrench into the Big Ten title picture too, because if Michigan wins and they get a little help of either Indiana, which that's not going to happen, but if Oregon loses, then Michigan would go. If Ohio State loses, Oregon goes. It's a whole mess here. And talking about tiebreakers again on Pick 6 Plus, I have every title game scenario. Guys, I thought we were done with calculus. I feel like I'm back in high school with this. It is so complicated, all these ACC scenarios, and but you're right. Michigan would throw a big wrench into this whole puzzle, not just the Big Ten, but the whole playoff system.
Okay, so tell me, we're talking about head-to-head matchups here. Who has the best shot of pulling the outright upset? Auburn over Alabama, Michigan over Ohio State, Texas over Texas A&M, Georgia Tech over Georgia, or Mississippi State over Ole Miss?
I think I'll go with the A&M Texas game. A couple reasons why, and first off, it is in Austin, and they're out of the playoffs, so this is their Super Bowl. This is their everything. They've had this circled on their calendars for over a decade. The first time hosting A&M since the Colt McCoy years, so they're going to be fired up in there. But then also with Texas, I watched their game against Arkansas. This was Arch Manning's best performance so far. I mean, I know it took until the 11th week, but he was really wheeling and dealing, stepping up in the pocket, extending plays. Deep ball, short game was accurate. They really played well. I know they gave up some points, but the Texas defense can be trusted over the course of the season. So I think you have a complete team. You have Arch rounding into form at the worst time for A&M the week before they play. And so I'd be concerned if you're the Aggies right now. And a loss would knock them out of the SEC title game too. So there's a lot at stake there.
So let me ask you this about Texas A&M, because they give me a lot of Indiana-esque vibes from last year, where the schedule maybe ends up being a little bit softer. And I know there was real discussion last year about Indiana getting left out after they took their loss. Is there any danger of that for Texas A&M, or is it, hey, it's a one-loss SEC team, they're automatically in?
No, there's some truth to that. I think they're a shade above Indiana last year just because of their non-conference. They did go into South Bend and win. I know that was back in September, and I know according to Notre Dame fans, those games don't count all of a sudden. September and August, they don't count. That's preseason for some teams.
I thought maybe they weren't counting it because of the holding penalty, but
that's true. Hey, I'll give you that. Let's call it a 50-50 toss-up game, because that game came down to the last. It was a kickoff return at the end. It was wild. So even if you call that a 50-50 game, that's still impressive for me. But yeah, you look at their SEC draw. 4 teams they beat have fired coaches. I mean, Auburn, Florida, Arkansas, LSU. These are some of the worst teams in the conference. Then bottom place, Mississippi State and South Carolina, both there with 1 win in the conference. And then Missouri. That's their signature win is Missouri, but they've taken some losses now. So they are coming in a little bit untested. I agree with you. They've had some margins of victory, but they've had some close ones too. So this is by far the most talented they've played in SEC in their SEC slate. So that's a good comparison.
Hey, JMU or North Texas?
I'm still going with JMU here. I think their path to 12-1 is a little bit cleaner, and it just seems like the committee they really look at the loss number a lot. Now, James Madison's loss has lost a little bit of luster, if you can call it a good loss. It was Louisville by 14, and Louisville at one point was in the top 10. That has now fallen off, but I'll go with JMU. I just think this AAC is going to continue to beat each other up. They still have the title game, which will be tough. So that one, every time I pick an AAC team, they lose. I'm going to just stick with JMU.
What's the Big 12 picture look like for you?
Big 12 is all about Texas Tech. It's a team I got to see live in Lubbock, and this is just one of the most talented teams in the country. Could be the best defense in the country. 3 All-Americans in consideration. You got Jacob Rodriguez at backer, the nation's sack leader David Bailey off the edge, and Lee Hunter at nose tackle. I mean, this defense is championship caliber. The offense is waking up too now that Barron Morton is healthy. Cameron Dickey's a tough runner. And all that oil money was put to use in the trenches too, the D-line, the O-line, and the receivers. So I think you have a really complete team that could go a couple rounds in the national bracket. But in terms of this Big 12 title scenario, it's Texas Tech and BYU. They win and they're in. It looks like it's going to be a rematch of the game I was at there in November. Or if Arizona State loses, they both go. So that's kind of where it's at. The only chaos scenario would be if BYU loses, Arizona State wins, then the Sun Devils will go rematch with Texas Tech. So it's kind of more straightforward there. They're 2 heavy favorites. Tech by 24 is the line, and BYU by 17. So barring a double-digit massive upset, it looks like a Tech BYU rematch.
Let me ask you something, Brett. Excuse me. Given the quality of opponents played, how does your model rank the defenses of the Buckeyes, the Sooners, and the Red Raiders? Seems to me like Oklahoma's the best of the bunch.
Yeah, and you could argue all 3 of them. Ohio State number 1, Oklahoma number 2, Notre Dame number 3, Texas Tech number 4. That's how I have it. Miami number 5, by the way. Those are my top 5, and really it's a top 4. Very clear cutoff. It is opponent adjusted, these numbers. So, but yeah, you could argue all 3, and they each excel at different things. Ohio State just smothers their opponent. It's less snaps per game. And they've had a lot of time with their backups in the fourth quarter. It might even look a little better. And once we get to the playoffs, when they're going full game, Oklahoma, their interior defensive line is nasty. And all of a sudden they're creating turnovers. They were kind of quiet in that department earlier in the season, but now they're takeaway crazy. Notre Dame, just a suffocating team. Some of the best cover corners out there. Leonard Moore could be the best cover corner in the country. And then lastly, Texas Tech, I just talked about, just star power at every level, championship caliber looking. So those are the 4, and I'm glad to see so many elite defenses this year. And that's been one of the cards of here, the calling cards of winning a playoff title. You think of the Georgia teams, Ohio State last year. It's all about defense too now. So keep an eye on that once we get to the national bracket.
So I get it, Brett. the caliber of competition and the quality wins aren't great. But what does the model say about Oregon defensively?
I've got them there at 6th. And I think what they did last week against USC was very impressive. I know they gave up 27 points, but that was still below USC's averages. You're talking about one of the best offenses in the country. So in the opponent adjusted number 6 overall, number 2 passing for Oregon. That's comparing the quarterback rating that they allow versus that opponent's average quarterback rating. So doing really well against the season averages. So I agree with you. And also with Oregon, offense and defense, they're down a couple starters. If they get healthy by the time we play this playoff, I mean, they are going to even look stronger and more experienced with 15 bowl practices. It's a young team. So Oregon is their value is going to continue to increase as we get closer to the playoffs.
Okay, so I know you said all of the scenarios for the ACC are in the Pick 6 plus. So I'm not going to ask you to go through those, but what is the most likely scenario for the ACC to play out?
Yeah, most likely a couple teams are winning in. So Virginia over Virginia Tech in the Commonwealth Cup, if they win, they lock up a spot. And SMU, if they were to go beat Cal, they're a 2-touchdown favorite, and Cal just fired their head coach, Justin Wilcox. So they're going through a mess, fresh off of a blowout loss to Stanford. So both Virginia and SMU as double-digit favorites. If they win, that's your matchup. Now, if they lose, they're going to need a little bit of help. The most notable would be if Pittsburgh loses to Miami, which again, that's an underdog spot, probably likely, then that still sends Virginia and SMU. So you need a lot to happen to get into a 4-team tie to try and get other teams like Miami or Tech or Duke in there. Those are really pipe dream, really rare chances. So most likely UVA and SMU go win your double-digit games, and that's your title game. And by the way, I think I'd have to favor SMU. Their offense looks explosive all of a sudden. Kevin Jennings, very dynamic. Their receivers make the one-on-ones, and they're one of the hottest teams in the country. So look ahead a little bit to SMU UVA, with SMU now projected to make the playoff.
Yeah, not surprising that Ron Rivera, I think, accomplished what he wanted to, which was
get rid of Justin Wilcox.
Get Wilcox out of there. Somebody's going to get a really, really good defensive coordinator. More apt to get one of the openings, Lapoy or Wilcox, in your opinion, if they're going to be on the move, Brett?
Well, I think with Lapoy, and same with Will Stein, the Oregon offensive coordinator, both the Oregon coordinators, I think they're going to get a big deal sent their way. And I think that they've been
Colin Klein offensively, if you're going to throw in OCs.
Oh yeah, he's done a phenomenal job too. And I think that they're all ready for the next step. Now, Wilcox, it's easier to go from head coach down to coordinator. I think somebody like you said is going to get a great defensive mind. That's one thing about Cal. They've always had a solid defense out there. They've sent guys to the pros from that side of the ball. It's just you can never pair it with a good offense. And it just a lot of one-score losses by Cal over his tenure too. So I think he was better than his record showed.
Agreed.
Especially given the resources he was limited by out there. So I think you have a good football mind with Justin Wilcox. I've enjoyed talking to him over the years. So look for him to get a role like you said. I would look at these Oregon guys, though. I think these are the up-and-coming coordinators this cycle that someone's going to get a great new head coach and who has learned under Dan Lanning how to recruit, how to get the transfers in there, how to rally a team. I'd like both those guys.
With a guy like Justin Wilcox and kind of the situation at Cal, you think more likely that he takes a high-profile DC job or tries to find another head coaching job this cycle, whether it's Group of Five or somewhere else, with all the dominoes that are going to fall? It seems like there's going to be
I don't even know who all these teams are going to hire.
That's what I mean. Like, there's at some point somebody's going to look at Justin Wilcox and be like, hey,
is a guy like Manny Diaz still in play? He's got to be, but I'm trying to see it. Help me here, Brett.
Yeah, I think Manny Diaz is still alive. I mean, one thing about him, just like Wilcox, he's always got a good defense. He's done that at Penn State. He did that at Miami for years before that. And at Duke, again, a similar deal with Cal where they don't have the most resources, but they're generating some good teams, good defenses. So, yeah, I think they're both candidates. And you're right. It's going to be one of the biggest games of musical chairs we've ever seen. I mean, because there's about 12 Power 4 jobs are open right now. That's not counting the domino effect when those get filled by other coaches. So it's going to be a big round robin of open spots. I don't know. You know, when you're talking head coaching search, I don't know these guys' personal goals and aspirations. Like, if you're Wilcox, would you rather stay in the big game, the big leagues, playing in the Power 4, and maybe be a coordinator on an SEC team and contend for a championship? Or would you more personally want to be the head man and go coach, Conference USA or Mountain West team? So a lot of it is the personal goals of the guy, and I'm not privy to that. So we'll see. But A lot of good candidates.
I asked a couple of weeks ago, and I know people kind of chuckled. But let me ask you again. How important is it for Sark to beat A&M this week?
Oh, it's important for sure, but the hot seat gets too hot over there in Texas. I mean, he just was fresh off of 2 playoff appearances. I mean, he's had them really strong. I know they were pre-ranked number 1 this year, and this year is certainly a disappointment, but I don't know. There's no job security problem here, and I think
it maybe not be as much them how they feel like pushing him, but he is really I listen to him almost every week, and he strikes me as the type of guy that you better appreciate him. You know what I mean?
He's given some Dabo vibes recently.
He lets you know that. I don't know, man. Sark, just when he talks, it's almost like James Franklin, where I could have seen James Franklin saying, hey, you know what, Penn State, pay me my buyout. I don't need this. I've outperformed this job right now, so I'll go and let me know how that works out for you. I'm not saying Sark is like that extreme, but he does let you know he thinks he's better at that job than maybe the fan base thinks he is when they're evaluating him. That's kind of what I mean.
That's a fair point, and I think that he understands his market value. He knows that if Texas were to push him out of there or give him a hard time, he's still one of the best play callers and play designers out there in football. He'll get an NFL coordinator job. Oh yeah, so I think he has the leverage here. And but you're right. I mean, he is known as the offensive guru, the play caller, the quarterback whisperer. So, and his big project, Arch Manning, it did not come out as we all thought it would. So this is a big stage, a national stage. Can knock out your big rival there at home in front of the home crowd. So it is a huge spot. I mean, if he gets Arch Manning and that offense fired up and they upset A&M, I mean, they might as well build a statue out there for him. So we'll see. It's a big spot, but I don't think hot seat. But to your point, I think he knows his value.
That is Brett Ciancia, Pick Six Previews. Brett, appreciate the time as always. Great stuff, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, same to you guys. Happy Thanksgiving, and good luck in the Heroes game, as they call it. And we'll talk next week. Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
There we go. That is Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews.
It's 0 days at Edwards Nissan. 0 down, 0 due at signing, and 0 payments until 2026. The Black Friday sales event is on. Give thanks, get driving. Drive a 2025 Nissan Sentra S starting at $199 a month for 36 months with 0 down and no payments until 2026. Over 39 Sentras ready to roll. Or sign and drive the 2026 Nissan Rogue SV all-wheel drive for $299 a month. 0 down and no payments until 2026. These 0-day offers end soon. Hurry to Edwards Nissan. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Nissan.
Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, a special Thanksgiving edition. Rico joining me here at Hurrdat HQ. We wanted to make sure that, maybe families can be complicated, right, Rico? What an introduction. I understand sometimes you might need a minute away from your family. Mm-hmm. Sure, you love them, of course, probably, but
most of you
doesn't mean you want to spend
all day,
or if you went out of town, all several days with them. You might need a little break. That's what we're here for.
That's why you have kids, so you can just take a nap on the couch with your newborn.
We're here to help.
Are we?
I think so. I feel like we're providing.
I feel like what we're about to do is about to cause more divisiveness.
No, not at all. I feel like we're here to provide a public service in case
announcement.
You need just a little break from the family time break. Then we've got you covered here.
Okay.
One of the things we wanted to do, because there's a controversial topic around this time of year, and that's Thanksgiving food.
Oh, I thought you were I was gonna say that's just every 4 years. I don't know why.
It is November. No, every year you're gonna have an argument about what kind of food we're getting for Thanksgiving. Okay.
Mhm.
Now I've been on the record about some of my preferences. I've got strong feelings about Thanksgiving food.
Got strong feelings about a lot of things. Right?
I do. That's kind of the job. I don't know if you know this.
What it is?
Yeah, I've got strong feelings about Thanksgiving food. I'm not well, we can get to it in the draft, but what I want to make clear here is I'm trying to find a list of traditional Thanksgiving foods because it's up to me. I mean, I think I've said this. I'm going full off the board this year for my Thanksgiving.
Oh, what are you guys doing?
We're doing a taco.
What are you having today on Thursday?
Today on Thursday, because this is just kidding. We record.
This is Thursday.
It doesn't matter.
You see the ticker on the bottom? It says Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving today.
That's why I'm wearing the same shirt I wore on Monday.
I'm not. I had a hoodie on Monday. Remember?
We are definitely doing this live. No, so we are going to do a taco and nacho bar for Thanksgiving, which I'm super excited about.
Okay.
Very excited.
I had a former coworker who his family kind of does the same thing. They don't go traditional. They just do things. I love the guy. Love his family.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Why not?
I can't.
Why not?
It's Thanksgiving. Traditional. I mean, I'm not traditional.
I was gonna say,
but I'm kind of traditional.
So
I married into a very traditional Thanksgiving food family.
Yeah. So my first marriage was they were very traditional about their Thanksgiving food, which is fine if that's what you're into. I wasn't. That's not the reason it didn't work.
That's the reason. It's the Thanksgiving food.
It's among several.
That's why I thought the intro was so fun. I'm away from your family.
Listen, the amount of times that I hid in the basement watching football games, pretty high. But you got to do what you got to do. That's where I watched the Kick Six. Was in a basement.
Love that.
Where was that? I think we were in Illinois, actually.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm trying to stick with traditional foods here because I've done everything from, like I said, nachos, tacos. We've done, when I used to go down to my sister's in Texas, I convinced her to do steaks most of the time, which I thought was terrific. I think everybody enjoyed that quite a bit.
They couldn't do that back when it was Pilgrims. They didn't have steaks.
Well, yeah, they could have done other stuff, maybe like deer steaks or something. I don't know.
I feel like turkey was more readily available.
Apparently. I think it was a practicality thing.
And corn.
That doesn't mean we have to continue to do that all these years later.
Yes, you do.
That's
tradition. You know what it is.
Should just keep doing the things we've always done. When has that ever gone wrong?
Carry on the tradition.
So, I didn't include steak on here. I know some people have said prime rib. I didn't include prime rib on here.
That sounds amazing.
No, I think it's a way better idea. That's kind of my point with some of these items.
Okay.
It's like there's better options, but I tried to stick fairly traditional. I will allow, if you would like to go off the board,
I will.
You have to make your case for it being a traditional Thanksgiving food, because otherwise I can just be like, well, no, I mean, ribeyes are better than turkey. And it's like, yeah, of course.
You're not wrong.
Duh. It's like,
but you can't do it.
I think we should just have tomahawks for things. Yeah, I agree. Everybody should
if you can afford tomahawks for your family for Thanksgiving,
do it.
Please invite me.
Do it.
I am your family now.
Look at me. Look at me.
I'm
your family now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying to stick fairly traditional. That's why I will allow a veto process if either of us bring something not on the list, or if you look at the list and you're like, that's not traditional, veto. We got to make an argument for or against the inclusion of the item.
Okay.
I'm not going to pretend like this is an all-inclusive list. That's why I will allow wild cards.
Ravi, famously not all-inclusive.
I am not a resort in Mexico.
Drinks do not come with the room reservation.
Absolutely not.
Sorry about it.
Costs extra.
Yeah, it does.
All right. So I'm going to run down real quick the list, and then we will pick from there. Just so for full disclosure, you know what the list is going in ahead of time.
Look at that beautiful lower third.
We've got the mains. Look at those. Look at that. Look at that dish. Look at that.
That looks pretty good.
That does look pretty good. You must have spent a
Solid.
lot of time on
A
that.
ton.
You probably made it at night even. The main dishes, turkey and ham. I think those are the
1 and 2.
most traditional meat main products at Thanksgiving. I don't think there is another
I don't think there's anything
common
else.
one.
No, I honestly don't think there's anything else that people like in terms of main dishes.
Yeah.
It's turkey and holiday ham, I think, are the staples.
I've seen people do, I mean, obviously we've done steaks. I've seen people do prime rib. I've seen people do like salmon fillets before.
That's weird.
These are the only traditional ones. So these we're sticking with. Sides, mashed potatoes, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I did throw scalloped potatoes in there. I think that is a traditional dish.
It's not, but it's delicious.
Cranberry sauce.
Would you be surprised if I told you I'd never actually had, like, I've never tried
You've never
cranberry
had
sauce? No, like I always see it and I go, that looks weird.
Are you gonna draft it?
Absolutely not.
Have you ever seen
Like out of the can? Yeah.
homemade, or have you only seen out of the can?
I think I've seen homemade.
Okay.
I'm not 100%.
Because in the can, it still has the lines around
and it's
it.
like
when you-
wobbly wobble. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to try it.
There's some uncanned ones that are more
Decanned.
yeah, like toucan,
Yeah.
Sam. No, they look less jiggly.
Okay.
So I don't know if that helps or
What
hurts.
do you put cranberry sauce on?
A lot of people will use it because
Turkey is dry.
turkey's dry AF,
Dry as hell.
and they use it. Some people will use it as part of the turkey.
Oh.
Cranberry berries in general are very frequently served with turkeys, whether it's on like sandwiches or anything like that. Like sometimes you get like a spread on there. So I believe that is
Never done that.
I believe that's the purpose of the cranberry sauce, because
Okay. I'd choose gravy, but okay.
turkey's dry AF. Well, that's
It
what the
is.
gravy's there for too, but it gives you another option.
Okay.
That
Not as dry as never mind.
was what?
Nothing.
Okay.
Just continue.
Green bean casserole. Disgusting, but very traditional.
I'm not drafting it.
No one is. It's gonna be.
One of you guys can draft it.
You can have
I'm
it.
not touching it.
I'm out. I'm gonna be honest. The people that draft that might look a little different than us. That might be a
Because they're not us.
yeah. That might
that's-
be an outside the chat thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Our wives?
Yeah,
Yes.
probably. Probably.
Everybody knows what we're talking about.
You know, our wives.
You know,
Um,
crispy onions.
I put mac and cheese on here.
Ooh.
Fair or foul?
Fair?
I feel like a lot of people have mac and cheese or like a mac and cheese casserole.
With like macaroni salad?
No,
No?
that's a different thing.
Okay.
If you want to include macaroni salad, you
I
can.
don't.
I think like a mac and cheese or like a baked mac and cheese casserole is pretty common.
I would, yeah. Bake, yeah, okay. Yeah, when you said baked, that
Like in the dish.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's got the crispy,
yeah, it's got like the crunchy
the,
on top.
the cheese. That's like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I think
I'll
mac
allow
and
it.
cheese casserole is pretty common.
I'll allow it.
Stuffing,
Weird, but yeah,
traditional.
yeah, it's fine. Just bread.
Some kind of corn,
Yeah,
whether it's casserole, on the cob, whatever. One of those.
This might be I don't like the corn casserole. Like it tastes weird. I'll
I
take it off the cob, but I
do not like corn casserole
casserole
either.
is weird.
But I will allow you to choose any type of corn you would like if
Okay.
that's
Okay.
something. Because there's too many variations. You know,
There's a
what I mean?
lot.
So that's why again with mac and cheese.
Corn dog. Is that
Done. I'm in. Mains. That's on the mains.
There it is.
This is the only type of corn I separated out. Cornbread.
Yes, that is different.
I also separated cornbread from rolls because those are
They're
different
not
things.
the same.
Yeah,
Yes,
those are different things.
you are correct.
And then sweet potatoes or yams is a very common dish. And then I went desserts. We have pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie, or pecan pie. Am I missing any desserts?
I feel like you are, but I
I
Can't
think those are like the only ones
think
I've
of
ever
it.
seen. I think that's it.
oh no, never mind. I don't know if that's it's like a marshmallow fluff. I don't know if that's
so usually that's like with the candied yams.
yeah.
They like put that on there.
Yeah.
So you could move that from sides to sweet potato
Okay.
or to desserts if you
Okay.
want.
I don't know.
I'll put candied yams under dessert.
What about what is it? I don't know what they're called. It's like peanut butter square things that I cannot think of the name.
Peanut brittle?
No, not brittle. Not peanut brittle.
That's
You
Christmas.
Uncultured swine.
That's Christmas.
It'll come to me at some point, but I can't
Peanut
think of it
butter-
right now. It's like they're like squares. It's like and then it has like chocolate on the top of it.
S'mores?
No, you uncultured swine. That's not it.
PB&J?
Ah, my chair.
You just got real short.
I already am. You know what? It's fine. I don't remember what it is.
I have no idea
It's
what
fine.
you're talking about.
I gotta fix my chair. This is gonna bother me. I'll figure it out at some point.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so much taller now. That
So-
was really low.
That's the list. Again, you can go off the board, but it might get vetoed.
Okay.
All right.
I'll allow it.
We're
Right,
gonna
choice.
select draft order here. Let's do it.
On that shoot?
So it's gonna be rock, paper, scissors,
Shoot.
show
And
on
that's when you-
show on shoot.
Yes.
Best of 3.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, rock, paper, scissors. They can't see it. It's fine on their laptops.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
All right,
OT. Don't be Nebraska. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah! Shoot.
All right, you get it.
Ah!
Number 1 draft pick to Rico.
Wet Jen takes the punt back for a touchdown.
How dare you? You take that back right now.
It's probably going to happen.
Shout. You stop it.
Ja'Cory Barney takes it back for a touchdown.
There we go. You could have picked anyone.
Yeah, but I said don't go to OT.
Yeah, you're a hater today.
It happens
You
to the best of us.
You trying to reverse jinx some things here?
I am.
Okay.
I have not cut my hair. I have not shaved.
Number 1 overall pick.
Number 1 overall pick. The only correct number 1 overall pick
Mhm.
in a Thanksgiving food draft
Yes, sir.
is the ham. Ah, it's the ham. It's not turkey. No, look, for all the people that say that they love turkey and like, oh, I love turkey and at Thanksgiving you have to have turkey, blah, blah, blah. You can't, turkey by itself, dry as hell. We've talked about this. You got to, if you have to take your meat and you have to put cranberry sauce or gravy or anything on it, it's not good. It's not good. You know what you got to do with the ham? Nothing. You just eat it and it's delicious. Number 1 overall pick, 1-1.
This is
Holiday ham.
This is literally my worst case scenario.
I know.
You really, I really needed to win that rock, paper, scissors battle.
You're welcome. I could have taken the one that you loved the most, but I didn't because I'm a good person.
Yeah. Wow. So can I go wild card here?
Do whatever you want. I might veto it. I would say the chat might veto it, because we're live.
We're super live. And people are definitely watching on Thanksgiving
100%.
to get away from their families.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm just gonna try it, and I'm gonna try and make an argument. And
I'm gonna veto it so hard. I'm gonna veto it so hard. I'm gonna force you to pick the turkey.
hold on, let me Google something real quick.
I'm gonna force you to pick turkey. There's absolutely no way that you can get out of this. There are two main dishes, 2 main meats. You gotta pick the one. It's literally the mascot for the season. And you don't want to pick it?
I don't want to pick it.
You're a monster.
Okay.
You're a
okay.
savage.
Okay. Here. Okay. So
It's on the lower third. It's right there. It's right below you.
I Googled.
You're ridiculous.
It says from Food and Wine.
Sounds fake. That's just 2 things. That's all it is.
From foodandwine.com,
I can make that.
which sounds like a very real
It's
website.
not foodandwine.net.
Foodandwine.org. It's a nonprofit.
Foodandwine.edu. That wouldn't be respectable. Shoot.gov.
I gotta find a .gov. There are. I've got lots of options here.
You don't.
So I can do roast chicken.
No.
It says beef tenderloin or prime rib.
No.
Pork chops.
No. I love pork chops, but definitely not.
This one I feel like might be a thing. Duck. I feel like duck is a thing.
No, not big
I
enough.
feel like.
It's not big enough to feed a family.
What about goose?
Still not big enough to feed a family. Also, do you eat goose? Can you eat geese?
Apparently you can't.
I thought they were a protected species.
According to foodandwine.com.
Making stuff up. No geese.
What about lamb? Like a lamb tenderloin.
I do love lamb.
And that is a holiday food. That's a pretty traditional holiday food.
I feel like it's more of an Easter thing.
No, a lot of people do it for Christmas as well. I
Yeah.
feel like lamb is.
Is that?
I feel like
Should
lamb.
I not have said that?
I feel like
That's
lamb.
sacrilege.
What?
Eating lamb?
Oh.
on Thanksgiving-
No, a lot of
Easter?
people do. A lot
Is
of
it?
people do. Yeah, yeah. Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving, clearly, according to foodandwine.com.
Have you met anybody that eats? The thing is, have you met anybody who has eaten any of these on Thanksgiving? Like, do you know somebody personally
Yes.
that has eaten any of these?
I have. So here are the things I know other people for sure that I know that aren't just me.
Not prime rib or steak. Those don't count. Those are definitely not Thanksgiving.
I know other people that have eaten prime rib.
No, okay.
Somebody brought up in the chat this week.
No, I get it, and I know that,
really
but those
don't want to take turkey.
do not count.
Well, okay.
So if you know somebody that's eaten geese or lamb
here's the other one I know for
dove.
sure. People,
just a different bird.
I did get a Cornish game hen in here as well.
Aren't those like this big?
Yeah, everybody gets their own. Can I go Cornish game hen, please?
You can. I don't care. Go ahead.
Here's the other.
You'd be very hungry.
No, I get my own.
They're still small.
I'm gonna load up on sides.
One Cornish game hen is like a chicken breast. Like,
so I have seen people serve fried chicken for Thanksgiving.
Did the Pilgrims have fried chicken when they landed on Plymouth Rock?
The Pilgrims didn't have anything. They got it all from the natives.
Did the natives have fried chicken when they
I don't know. I wasn't there.
When the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock?
I wasn't there. They might have.
They didn't.
They might have.
They weren't cooking chicken in oil.
They might have.
They weren't.
Corn oil. Maize oil.
Mash. They weren't.
Fried chicken?
I will allow one of the other birds.
All right, I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going sides on my number one pick here.
Okay.
I have to because you already have your main, so it doesn't matter now.
Good.
I'm 100% going scalloped potatoes.
I knew you would.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I could have an entire meal of scalloped potatoes. I'd be fine. It's one of not just my favorite Thanksgiving foods. It is one of my favorite foods of all time. The cheesy scalloped potatoes. Some people call them au gratin potatoes.
Au gratin.
I mean the same thing. I know technically they can be different things. That's my number one pick without a doubt. Happy to do it.
You're going with potato coins?
Yeah, the little
potato coins,
the medallions.
Coin
Yeah,
flip
you got to be
potatoes.
careful with the mandolin because they can slice your finger off.
Those are terrifying.
Yeah, they're very
I will
scary.
never use one.
All right, that's my number one pick. Go ahead.
Okay, so we have ham and we have
Scalloped potatoes.
potato coins. That's what I'm gonna call them because you were a coward and didn't want to pick turkey.
I don't want to pick turkey. Turkey's so gross.
So I'm gonna go with the next most solid option that you can go with.
Yeah,
mashed potatoes.
Fair. That's totally fair.
I've got a great looking plate right now.
I feel like you left me some really good options here. I'm going mac and cheese.
Okay, well, we had a discussion about is mac and cheese there.
You told me yes.
I did say
already
yes.
Said yes.
But the fact that we had to have a discussion about it,
you already said yes.
No, I know. I'm not going to veto it. I'm just saying that the fact that we had to have a discussion about it and talk like, isn't it traditional? I don't know, but we'll allow it. Not as great. It's like a future pick. You're drafting and stashing mac and cheese right now.
I'm the Spurs in the 2000s. I'm drafting stash, baby.
You're the Minnesota Timberwolves where you took Johnny Flynn with your scalloped potatoes, and then you took Ricky Rubio and you left him over in Spain. That's your mac and cheese.
I would have drafted Steph Curry like a genius.
But you didn't because I did.
Scalloped potatoes is my Steph Curry.
That's not Steph Curry.
100%.
Scalloped potatoes is
Steph
at
Curry.
most Klay Thompson.
That's a good pick.
It's okay.
I'll take.
But is it Klay Thompson with Steph?
Ham is not Steph Curry.
You're right. Ham is LeBron James.
If you let me go off the board like prime rib, like that's Steph Curry.
No.
Yes.
100%. Prime rib is
is
Michael Jordan.
Okay. Well, then Tomahawks is Steph Curry.
Tomahawks is Nikola Jokic. Shout out Kenny Bell.
Overrated hack. That's an inside joke between me and Kenny. Enrico. All right, so I'm going mac and cheese. Listen, the winner here isn't who ends up with the most traditional plate. The winner here is who ends up with the best plate. And right now I feel like I'm in it.
You don't have a main course.
I'll figure it out later. You're
just hanging out with mac and cheese and potatoes.
So here's what delicious.
I can't.
Incredible.
That's pretty good.
Mac and cheese and scalloped potatoes, like you're having a good time.
That's a third plate. That's after you get 2 plates of main with sides.
No, absolutely.
And then
not.
you just go, you know what? I've had enough ham. Let me just get potatoes and mac.
I go those two first, and then I'm like, I'll find a place for whatever else.
You're ridiculous.
I will say I feel really good about this plate so far. It feels like I'm building my offensive and defensive lines. You got your quarterback already in ham.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and make it so that the turkey is like just functional enough to get me through. Or
you're trying to Wisconsin this. You're trying to 2010s Wisconsin this.
Yeah, like I've got Melvin Gordon. I've got James White.
You've got your offensive line, you've got your defensive line, and now you're like, all right, let's get somebody who's not going to turn the ball over.
I was thinking this is more like the Jimmy Garoppolo Niners. Like I'm just trying to find
hold it together.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a game manager. Please don't turn the ball over.
Look, you're not going to win us the game, but don't lose us.
Please don't dry out the turkey so much it's not edible.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to do here. So we're building around, and then we'll plug and play at the QB spot.
I'll allow it.
All right. You're up.
I'll allow it. I'm up. Okay. So this is one that is not traditional, and I feel like you're going to veto me, but it's traditional in my family.
Okay.
It's traditional in Puerto Rican culture.
Okay, so that's where you're going to get me because it's going to sound insensitive. I'm like, that's not traditional.
Exactly. That's how I get you. You can't say no to it now.
Can't say no to what?
Arroz con gandules.
Okay.
So it's rice with pigeon peas.
What are pigeon peas?
You know what? I'm not 100%.
Okay.
They're delicious.
I really don't know what
they're like a type of bean.
Pigeon peas. Oh, it's a legume.
Yeah. They're really good in the rice.
Yeah, I've never heard of pigeon peas before. They kind of look like chickpeas.
So hold on. Here, look at this. You'll love this picture.
What do we got here?
Look at that.
I've seen that before.
Yes.
That doesn't seem like a.
That's what we have every Thanksgiving.
All right, so here,
and I understand it's very not traditional for, Thanksgiving folk, but
for your wife's side of the family,
yes. But for my side, this is something that we.
Let me ask you this question. This will determine whether or not I veto.
Okay.
Is this just a your family thing, or is this very common in other families of your same culture for Thanksgiving?
This is Puerto Rican.
Okay.
This is like a holiday.
I will allow it.
Yes.
I will allow it.
Yes.
If it was a just you guys thing, like me having my sister cook steaks is like an us thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure other people have done it, but if it's not a cultural thing.
It is a cultural
thing. I will trust you that this is a cultural thing, and I will allow it.
Yes.
So
I'm sitting pretty right now. Ham, potatoes, rice.
I thought you were going to start singing the song.
Bean, tomato, ham, pork. Oh, I guess you can have ram. You can have lamb. It's in the song. Lamb, ram, jam, pork.
I can have lamb if it's in the song?
Green, but yeah, you can. It's in the song. I'll allow it.
I'm definitely going to go lamb then with my third pick.
Sounds good.
100%.
How do you is it like lamb chops or is it?
Usually it's like I would love a lamb chop. Lamb chops are so good. That would be my preference. If you're cooking, I don't feel like it's realistic. If you're cooking for a large amount of people, you're probably doing the lamb tenderloin, like the loin,
Yeah.
That's what my wife has done for Christmas before. So I'm guessing it's probably a loin, which I don't like as much as
you could do
lamb chops.
So I looked up Thanksgiving lamb, and there's some chops in there.
Well, I'm definitely taking chops.
A little bone.
Yeah.
If
chops are on the table, I'm definitely taking
roasted
chops.
rack of lamb.
Yeah, I'm doing that then. Yeah, give me the chops.
I'll allow it.
Let's go. I might have just took the lead with the lamb.
I think the ham's still better than the lamb. The lamb
Really?
The lamb is solid.
Lamb chops
The
are
lamb
good,
is solid,
man.
but the ham is better. The ham is better.
The ham is more traditional. I think if I'm like in a vacuum, I'm taking lamb over ham though.
I think I might still take ham.
Really?
Yeah.
I really like lamb chops.
Like if you're making it the holiday ham way,
like the pineapple and stuff.
yeah, like I'm taking that
So
over damn near everything.
really? Oh, you're very high on ham though.
I love ham.
So I am going I like ham a lot. I like ham better than turkey for sure. If you give me lamb chops, definitely taking it over the ham. If you're making me go lamb loin, I'm probably going ham.
See, if we were gonna go with a loin, I would say you'd have to take like a pork loin.
That's fine.
But I'll allow the lamb chops.
I'll do lamb chops. Yeah, I'm taking lamb chops over ham.
It's a good plate. It's a good looking plate.
It's listen, it feels like I maybe just got like Brock Purdy in the 7th round a little bit.
It's a good looking plate.
It feels like my lamb chops might be my Brock Purdy.
Maybe.
If we're sticking with the 49ers analogy here.
Unless he gets hurt.
He has got hurt a couple times.
Okay, so I'm up, right?
You're up.
So this is a hard one. Because I want to take a bread of some sort.
Yeah. I was looking at bread before you gave me lamb
but
chops.
it's the two of them that I don't like. I want to choose cornbread, and I feel like that's probably the right choice. But like rolls, again, if we're going traditional wise,
Very traditional.
like it's there. It's you just grab it, you're dipping it in the gravy and the mashed potatoes and everything. Like it's just there, and you can turn it into a sandwich, right? But the cornbread,
Cornbread's better.
the cornbread is better.
In and of itself, cornbread is better.
Yeah,
But you're right. The rolls are more traditional. They're a little more versatile.
they are.
A little more versatile. You're not like putting gravy on cornbread.
No, because you don't need to.
Well, that's also that'd be gross. I feel
Yeah.
like I don't think that'd be good. But yeah, you're a little more versatile with the rolls versus the cornbread.
You put like the sauce, not the sauce, but like the juice from like the ham on the cornbread. I feel like that'd be really good.
I've never done that. Might be.
I feel like that'd be really
Might
good.
be.
I think I'm gonna
I'll be
go
honest.
with the cornbread. I'm gonna go with the cornbread because I feel like it soaks up the juices of whatever's on the plate as well.
I was kind of trying to talk you out
As
of it.
a little
'Cause
bit
I
of
wanted
I
cornbread.
know you were.
Man.
I know you were. I was close.
I know.
You
I almost had you.
You almost got me.
I thought I almost got you.
No, I'm gonna go with the cornbread.
I am gonna go rolls. Can I be more specific?
100%.
I want the sweet Hawaiians.
I knew it.
I want the sweet Hawaiian
a good
rolls. Yeah.
That's a good
I
one.
feel like that evens it out with the cornbread a little bit.
It's close.
It's pretty close. It's
closer.
much closer.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
not Steph Seth anymore.
Yeah, I'm definitely going sweet Hawaiian rolls. I do think that is very common and very traditional. A lot of people do sweet Hawaiian rolls
Yep.
for Thanksgiving. I'll be honest. I'm just give me the butter. I just want butter, sweet Hawaiian rolls. I might, if I've got ham, I would make a little sandwich.
So you know what's really good.
What's
And
that?
I don't know if this is traditional or not. It could just be the in-laws. They have like the rolls that
They
they
seem
make.
pretty
right?
traditional.
They have the rolls that they make. Watch it. And Grandma Shot makes her own jelly and jam.
Oh yeah.
And so like she has like strawberry jelly.
Oh yeah.
And you put that on the roll.
I'm in.
I could eat that all day.
I could just eat that.
Like it's good.
I'm in.
That would
I
be the
feel like
only
you could-
reason I would want the rolls.
I feel like you could put the cranberry sauce on the rolls, and that'd be pretty good too, because
Again,
it's sort of like a jam.
I need to try cranberry sauce.
Like depending on what, like it's sort of like a jelly jam.
Yeah.
You know. So
just jiggles too much. I can't.
well, that's why you got to get like the homemade as opposed to
Scares
the
me.
canned. The homemade doesn't jiggle like
Okay.
that. The homemade is much more like a jam.
Okay.
And you can like change the flavor up a little bit. Sometimes the can is a little overly sweet. But yeah, I'm gonna go rolls. I feel pretty good there.
Okay. So I have ham,
Mhm.
mashed potatoes, rice, cornbread.
It's a pretty good plate.
It's a nice plate. That's a nice plate.
I've got lamb chops,
Uh-huh.
scalloped potatoes,
Uh-huh.
mac and cheese, sweet Hawaiian rolls.
The mac and cheese is killing me right now because that honestly is what's taking your plate.
I'm in
Pretty
the
high.
neighborhood. Like I'm
It's
in the
taking-
neighborhood.
I still think mine is better, but that mac and cheese is killing me.
Mine
right
is very mine isn't one you're gonna see in like a catalog about
Yeah.
Thanksgiving food. But if you got the two next to them, like you're thinking about it. You're thinking about
now. Like I had to take the potatoes.
the
Like
mashed
I don't think
potatoes.
you would have taken scalloped potatoes and mashed potatoes.
Oh, I would have 100%.
Oh, okay.
I
See,
100% would
I
have.
had to take it. I was thinking about the mac and cheese, but I had to get a potato in there.
I 100% would have taken both because
And there's no way I'm gonna go like, ooh, baked potato. That's gross.
like garlic mashed potatoes are phenomenal.
So that mac and cheese is killing me right now. I'm not gonna take. So I might get some enemies here.
Yeah.
Green bean casserole sucks.
Yeah,
So that's not getting
terrible.
picked. Stuffing sucks. So that's not getting picked.
I'm not a huge fan. I've had stuffing I don't mind, but I don't need it.
Stuffing sucks. I'm not the biggest fan of sweet potatoes / yams.
Okay.
Like I've had them and they're okay, but I don't need it on my plate.
I in general am not either.
So I might.
Are we moving to desserts right now?
I think I might be going to dessert.
I'm okay going with desserts.
I'm trying to think of something else that I could put on my plate that
What-
isn't on the list, but I can't think of it right now. So
Yeah.
I might go to dessert. I might come back.
So here's okay. Yeah, we can come. Let's do desserts now. We'll come back. I'll give some other
well,
options.
what do you
Well,
have?
some of my other options is sometimes when you're at like a Thanksgiving get together, there's like pre-meal.
Okay.
So like we'll do like a charcuterie board.
Okay.
So I feel like that's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a cheese plate, which is kind of like a charcuterie board too,
Mhm.
which I think is very good. That I feel like is on the table if you wanted to go there. I was just kind of thinking of like the pre-meal foods that I think would also count
Okay.
if you wanted to go that direction. You could wait till after the pies,
Yeah.
but just if you want other options, some people do like a salad. I don't know if you want to do like a salad.
I'm not a rabbit, so no. So when I take the mashed potatoes, does that come with the gravy? Or do I have to take, is the gravy separate?
I'm saying everybody gets gravy if they want gravy.
Okay, so gravy is just on the table.
Included.
Okay.
Yes, that is, gravy's your all-time QB. Everybody gets it. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody gets the gravy.
Sorry, I'm looking up food, and
Doing all right.
this thing says Thanksgiving jungle juice. Like, shoot, if jungle juice is on
If jungle juice is on the table,
wait a minute.
we got to start over.
That's number 1 right there.
And then I'm just going to your house, and I'm skipping my plate.
Need to go back.
So jungle juice, I feel like that is the Thanksgiving Eve number 1 pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is still a thing. It might have been when you were younger.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting.
What?
Stupid. It's not even on there. I know exactly where I'm going with.
What?
Corn on the cob.
Oh, yeah.
How did I forget that?
We forgot about the corn.
Forgot about the.
I mentioned the corn, but
Yeah.
it wasn't written down.
I forgot about corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob is a good one.
Yeah.
Corn on the cob is a good one.
Because the thing is with the corn on the cob is you can slice up so it's not on the cob, so you just cut it off and then you just have
Sure.
corn,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just loose corn. On
I'm
your plate,
not here for
but
a
I'm gonna
corn-
go on the cob.
I'm not here for a corn casserole. I have no interest,
absolutely not.
no interest in that whatsoever.
Hard pass.
The only thing that even resembles a casserole that is the mac and cheese, like the baked mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It's casserole adjacent. It's not really a casserole.
It's noodle casserole. Noodle and cheese casserole.
Noodle.
Robbie's got his nudes.
Noodles.
Oh, my bad.
It's a different thing, man.
Oh, my bad, guys. You go to Robbie's for nudes?
Noodles.
Damn it, I keep forgetting.
Noodles. I will say, there was a time, especially as like when you're coming back from college or like early adulthood, where everybody would get in town Wednesday night, and that was one of the best nights of the year, where people would you'd like meet up with all your friends and like just get after it.
Yeah,
that was a Thanksgiving Eve is a low key underrated night.
Yeah,
it's
like a Friendsgiving.
Yeah, so shout out to all the people on that are maybe a little hungover because this is live on Thursday.
100%.
So from last night, having a good time with your friends. I hope you enjoyed it. I will say
Listen to this hungover.
I will miss I miss a Friendsgiving and a Thanksgiving Eve get together as much as anything. Maybe we'll see if we can. I mean, I definitely already tried to get that together this year.
Yeah. I don't remember if it happened or not.
This is live. It must have if I don't remember it. Fun with friends.
Huzzah.
Okay. So my next pick.
By the way, we're going to keep pretending this is live.
What do you mean pretending?
Exactly.
We only do live.
Only live shows.
It's called Hurrdat Sports
Live. Not Hurrdat Sports recorded.
Not Hurrdat Sports Lie, as in we're lying to you about whether this is live or not. Or are we? I'm going Zerts here.
Straight desserts?
Yeah,
You're
we're
done
going-
building your plate?
I think so. I'm pretty happy with how this went. I have a wild card I might throw at you later.
Ooh.
And then I may try and go back and pick a charcuterie board as well. But I'm going to
make you build the charcuterie board to see if you're actually classy or not.
Try me.
From me to you. That's hilarious.
There's 2 pies here that I'm debating between.
I know which one I'm going to pick.
I'm going sweet potato pie.
Okay.
Sweet potato. So here's the thing. I only recently had discovered the joys of sweet potato pie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's I don't like sweet potatoes outside of pie, so I assumed I would not like sweet potato pie.
Same.
I really hate sweet potato French fries because
they're fake.
They're masquerading as French fries, and they are not.
You ever get surprised by a sweet potato French fry?
Oh yeah, it makes me real mad.
I'm pissed.
Real mad.
Don't ever do that to your friends.
It is worse, in my opinion, than getting surprised by an oatmeal raisin cookie that you thought was chocolate chip.
I do love an oatmeal raisin cookie, though. That is one of the few things I agree with Damon on.
But what if you think it's a chocolate chip and you end up with an oatmeal raisin?
I'm okay with it.
All right. Well, I'm not. I am much less okay if I get surprised by a sweet potato fry, though.
Mm-hmm.
I do like sweet potato pie. It is like pumpkin pie in consistency, but it's just a little bit sweeter. Got a little bit more pie, a little bit more like desserty flavor. I'm going sweet potato pie. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Where are you going with?
I'm going. Nope. Going off the board.
Off the board.
Off the board. Dessert wise.
Could get vetoed.
It won't.
Could get. Okay. Go ahead.
Caramel apple.
Apple pie is not traditional Thanksgiving pie.
Yes, it is.
Apple pie is not
Why
traditional
not?
Thanksgiving pie.
Why not?
Because it's not.
Why?
It's not.
How is it not?
Because it's pumpkin, sweet potato, pecan. Those are your traditional pies.
Oh, I'm sorry. What isn't apple pie as American as baseball?
Yeah, that happens in the summer, 4th of July. Apple pie is a 4th of July pie.
No, it's an American pie.
4th of July
Thanksgiving
pie.
is an American holiday.
4th of July pie.
Therefore, apple pie. I won't even put the caramel on there. It's just regular apple pie.
It's a summer pie.
No, it's an all day. It's an
Apple pie is a summer pie.
every month pie.
Absolutely not.
You can get apple pie. It's like a holiday pie.
Absolutely not.
Because you can design it.
Summer
you can put
pie.
little Christmas trees. You can put a little turkey on there. You could design it. It counts.
Absolutely not.
You're gonna veto apple pie.
No, I'm just mad that you picked apple pie and I didn't think about it.
You're
That's
just
what I'm
upset
mad
at
about.
it. I understand it.
Hey,
Hello.
Kenny, what are you doing
Hi,
here
on our live show?
What are you doing here at
No, it's live. Hold on, since we're live, I might be able to get another headset.
What are you
but it's
doing
okay.
here on Thanksgiving Day? It is Happy Thanksgiving, buddy. How we doing?
Happy Turkey Day.
We're doing good. How are you? Why don't you throw the headset on real quick? Yeah, we'll figure it out. We got a surprise Kenny Bell appearance here on live on Thanksgiving Day. Where are we going?
We can go right between us.
This is a pleasant surprise here. This is great.
I don't know why Kenny's showing up on Thanksgiving. Nothing to do with his family. The office was completely empty. I stopped by to grab some stuff, so you guys happen to be up here.
Kenny, what's going on, bud?
Man. So, whoa.
I don't think we're on yet. We'll give it a second. Rico's working it. He's producing. It's a production. Oh, that's me, I think. Can you say something?
1 2 1 2.
There it is. There it is. We got Kenny.
We lighting up.
Oh, we're lighting up. We are lighting up like
Nice. Like it's
4th of July.
4 weeks before Christmas.
I'll be honest. My tree's been up for about 4 weeks already.
That's a red flag, bro.
Listen, the wife is a November 1st person. It makes her happy, and I'm like, I don't have a good reason not to. I don't have a good reason not to.
You quit while you're ahead.
Makes her happy. You know what? Cool.
If she's happy, I think that's
cool. We're doing
There we go.
We're doing a Thanksgiving food draft right now.
Okay.
What is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Ham, by far.
Ham's a good one.
1-1.
Throw the turkey out the window.
Thank you. That's where we're.
So I'm not trying to be disrespectful. You like turkey, but
No, it's fine. I've already been disrespectful.
If you like turkey, you don't have
It's dry.
taste buds.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like it's dry. The only saving grace for turkey is what?
Gravy.
The gravy.
Yeah.
Like
Or the cranberry
no one-
sauce.
Or
apparently.
cranberry. Yeah. Some people will dip in cranberry sauce.
I've never had cranberry sauce.
Thank you.
Stop.
Stop. with
Is it
that.
not good?
I wouldn't know because I
Okay.
tried it once
See?
and won't do it again.
This cranberries might be a white people thing. I don't know. It's possible.
I mean,
I'm discovering that right now.
cottage cheese, cranberry sauce.
I would never put cottage cheese on anything.
Kinda, you know what I mean? Those kind of things
So
are not in my diet.
So right now, we've built our plates for the most part, right? So I had the first pick, took ham, 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was pissed.
I was
He
mad.
didn't take turkey.
I did not take
Nobody
turkey.
took. So I have ham, mashed potatoes.
What do you have?
I'll go.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay.
So this is, and then
So
so
sweet potatoes, ham, gravy. It's like, bro.
so my third one is a traditional Puerto Rican dish. It's arroz con gandules. So it's rice with pigeon peas. It's delicious.
With pigeon. What part of the pigeon?
Pigeon peas.
It's just the name
It's
of like a bean.
yeah.
It's not.
What part of the pigeon?
It's actually pigeon
I know,
urine.
it's
They
not-
cook the
it's not-
rice.
It's
in
the
it.
You know,
toes.
it's not like
It's
an
the
actual
pigeon
pigeon. Yeah,
toes.
it's like the pigeon.
Just cut the toes
of
off
pigeon.
and just put it in the rice.
It's the beak.
Yeah.
Can I have the beak on the side?
Take the beak. You just give me the beak on the shed. Cornbread, and then I just took apple pie.
Apple instead of sweet potato. I actually
He
learned
took
that.
sweet potato.
I
I
learned
did.
that about you guys because I brought you some sweet potato pie. And you
Yeah.
wanted the apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I
took
like sweet
For
potato
those
pie.
at home, I'm a good coworker. I
He
bring
does.
my-
He brings food all the time. It's
bring
great.
My coworkers food.
I
Ask
did.
him what Arif said on Monday. Since this is Thursday.
I don't remember what did he say.
He said, "Oh, we're good friends. I can give it $10,000 or $100,000." I said, "I don't know what kind of friend. Kenny, you won't be that kind of friend for me."
I wish I had been like that.
So mine is Rico graciously allowed me to go off board on my main dish because nobody wants turkey. We went lamb chop.
Chop's pretty good.
I like a good
actually.
lamb chop.
Mhm.
Again, it's like any chop. I feel like lamb or pork, like it has to be cooked correctly.
It does.
That thing can dry out.
It does.
Pretty
It
quick.
100% can.
We can't sit here and complain that the turkey is dry and then be like, oh, I'll take a chop.
Yeah.
I will take my
dry chop.
chances with a chop over a turkey, though.
That's fair.
I will 100%
That's
take
fair.
my chances. And I've had some very, very good lamb chops. I've never had turkey that I was like, oh my God.
I actually agree with that. I don't think I've ever had like a bite of turkey where I'm just like, oh man, this
Yes.
turkey's
And I
delightful.
definitely have on
not
lamb
like
chops.
not when it's like if it's coated in gravy and like stuffing.
but then
yeah,
it's
like
the
awesome.
gravy.
Yeah.
The only time I've had a good piece of turkey is I went to the Ren Fair and had a turkey leg. But I think it might have just
I've bought one of those
just a
before,
big
but
ol'
like
No
every time I've had one of those at the fair, they're underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree.
mine wasn't. Maybe I
It's
just got lucky.
it's just a leg of meat.
It's
Every
just
time I buy it and I take a bite or two, and then I'm just like, kind of.
I would rather have a fried chicken
Yeah,
dummy
and
right
it's
now
like hot, and I got hot grease from like the calf
on my hand. I was like,
Maybe it was
Can I
just
just get a
maybe I
fried
just got
chicken drummy?
lucky and I just got a really good one because there's the three things I remember from that Ren Fair was my mom bought me a wooden sword. I saw somebody dressed as a dragon.
Hold on. How old were you?
Yeah, I was like, I was like 10.
It's like last week.
What are you talking about? My mom.
That's my birthday.
The Renaissance Fair a couple weeks ago.
See, if I would have gone when I was older, I would have bought myself a real sword, but I couldn't. I was 10. So my mom bought me a wooden sword.
So maybe you just thought it was cool. You were walking around with a giant like
baby
stick of meat.
But I remember it being delicious. Again, 10-year-old me. Taste buds weren't that developed.
Yeah, that's fair.
You maybe had a bit of an elementary palate there.
Potential.
I mean, you chose pigeon pie as one of your
apple pie.
Oh,
pigeon peas.
Pigeon peas.
Pigeon beak.
Pigeon beak. It's a pigeon toes.
Pigeon pie. I've been watching Game of Thrones.
I just finished that.
All right, hot pie.
Look at this.
So my
I would eat that. That looks.
so mine is lamb chops, scalloped potatoes. Love
scallops.
Love
Nice
scalloped
call on the
potatoes.
scalloped potatoes. I like that.
Mac and cheese.
Obviously.
And then sweet Hawaiian rolls.
Oh,
yeah.
You went with the custom Hawaiian
I
rolls.
did.
Those are
And
nice.
say he picked rolls. I let him go a little off board with sweet Hawaiian.
I specified
He did.
sweet Hawaiian.
I like the
okay.
Hawaiian rolls when you get them on like a good pulled pork.
Yep.
Oh
Like
yeah,
one of those.
yeah.
Like, you got to have it with the right. I feel like kind of meat,
Yes.
because
Or
like that's sweet.
Listen, I'll just put a little butter on there. I'll just eat
a little garlic butter too, just
I'll
straight
just
to the
eat
dome.
those things, man. You know.
So
It's good for you.
see, the thing was,
Tell your doctor that.
the
And,
cholesterol.
and then I got sweet potato pie.
Nice. Yeah, sweet potatoes definitely the way I'm going.
So I
on
took
that.
ham 1-1, which put him in a bind. So he took scalloped potatoes.
I did. I just went scallop because that's one of my favorite foods on the plate.
You just went straight away from.
There was
just
0% chance I was taking turkey.
Yeah.
I mean,
So then I was sitting here and I was like, do I want to take mashed potatoes or do I want to take mac and cheese? I was like, a baked mac and cheese would go amazing on this plate.
mashed taters.
But I took the taters and then he took the mac and cheese,
Yeah.
which kind of put me in
I
a
think
bind,
I think
but
the
was-
taters were the way to go. But
He also didn't
who
think
got
that
gravy.
I wasn't sure if
Everybody
he was,
gets gravy.
Yeah, in this
Everybody
scenario,
gets
gravy's just
Oh,
on the
so we're
table.
socialistic with the gravy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I call it all-time QB. Everybody gets the gravy.
Everybody gets gravy.
You know.
gravy.
So we were
Um,
sitting here and I was sitting here and I was like, I don't know. He took
Oh,
scalloped.
It's great.
I was like, he took scallop. I don't know if he'll take mashed
I
potatoes.
100% would have. Yeah.
And he told me, he goes, I 100% would have.
You-
He would have
yeah.
been. He would have been doubled up on potatoes.
I'll go taters on taters.
And
on
I would've
taters.
had
Like, I don't
ham
care.
and
You're a
mac and
taters
cheese.
and mac guy.
Oh yeah.
I think your turkey day plate could just be taters and mac.
I told him if he didn't let me do lamb chops, I was skipping the meat.
just no meat.
and I was just gonna go all sides.
wrong with that.
He drafted and stashed his mac and cheese. He left it over in Spain.
I did.
Smart. You should draft the Rib Shack mac and cheese.
Dude, I know.
I might need to take a tray of that home. To
That's what I had in mind when I was thinking about the like baked mac and cheese, because that's the kind it is
Yeah.
with like the kind of the cheese crust on top.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's mac
Where
and
it's like they
cheese.
pull it out of the oven and then they take like a flamethrower on the top.
Yeah. it's like
when
mac
you're
and cheese creme brulee.
Yeah. You just have to torture. You're just like, all right, don't burn it.
It's
Don't
like
burn
that
it with the blowtorch in the bag.
It's the mac and cheese.
That's our mac and
Oh,
cheese guy.
That's our mac and cheese finisher.
that makes sense.
He's the finisher.
Yeah, just-
So you're gonna be currently in Colorado.
Yep,
you will be.
When do you leave? When do you go back?
Tomorrow. I came back last
2
night.
days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. I came back 4 days ago on Sunday because we were dropping off. We were partnered with Costco and Edwards Auto,
Yeah.
and Pepsi and everybody, and we just dropped off all that stuff over an open door mission this morning. It was
Nice.
awesome, man. We dropped off 1,500 pounds of turkeys.
Dude,
and,
that's awesome.
And 4 pallets of like Gatorade and Propel and stuff,
Nice.
and it was really cool. So big shout out to the people at Open Door Mission. Those folks over there they're really kind. They're really great to work with, and honestly, what they're doing over there is very cool. So check them out, and obviously thank you to Costco, Pepsi, and Edwards Auto for
Absolutely.
like we had so much gear like to load up to the vehicles. Edwards lent us 4 vehicles, and we were packed to the brim, and we still had to use like my car and Chris's truck to get everything over there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
They hooked it up.
Yeah, they really did. And then we got over to Open Door, and all those people were waiting on us to unload everything, and we got it. It was cool.
That's
awesome.
incredible.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody has a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man,
helping out,
cool.
helping give back.
Yeah, I think one thing that living here in Nebraska, you guys know me. I'm a very, very proud Coloradan.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I've always really loved and appreciated about Nebraska is the community and stepping up for one another. And it's really cool to see everyone rally, especially during the holidays coming up. And some people are struggling, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. You know that those things happen. So for us to rally around the community really fired me up. It gave me some good energy. That's why I came in here with a smile on my face this morning. It wasn't to see you guys.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I figured.
I thought you just liked us.
Kenny don't like us. Just talking what you said earlier.
What did I say?
When we were comparing food to players.
What did I say?
I said something about, oh, you took Nikola Jokic.
Oh, yeah. I said overrated trash.
Yeah, trash. Man, Robbie's trying to gaslight me into thinking Joker's not the greatest player in the NBA. It's not going to work.
No, I just having a little fun.
Poor Nico is a fan of the Knicks, so he's just gonna.
Hey, we're fine
on the back.
We're fine.
Are you?
We're missing our.
Are you though?
What did I say on Monday? About OG. Well, I didn't say it. Somebody else said it.
You tell us. It was
somebody else.
It's 4 days ago.
I read it on Twitter.
Oh,
that the Knicks are doing so bad because they're missing their. What is it? There was something before they called him their autistic basketball player who just loves to dunk.
Oh my god!
I didn't know we're out here like Didn't know we're out here just like diagnosing people.
Yeah, it's very common on Twitter these days.
Self-diagnose.
You see some things.
They're missing OG. They're missing their best defender. It's okay. Once he gets back, we're fine.
I don't know.
Apparently, everybody's trying to trade Cat for AD. That's a terrible trade.
Isn't that trading of like a kettle for a pot? Like what?
It's like, what's the difference? What are we doing?
That's trading offense and no defense for street clothes.
That's AD has not played a full season.
Exactly.
Very long time.
Everybody's like, oh, but do you want to win the finals? You trade for AD. And it's like, no.
No, you want to win the lottery. You trade for AD.
When was the last time that AD played in the postseason?
2020? When they won the title? When they won the bubble title?
The bubble title?
That might be it.
I don't think the Lakers made it after that.
Let
they didn't
me
play with Dallas.
Well, you know what year they didn't make it? 23. You guys know
who did that?
Remember who won the championship?
That's kind of a forgotten.
I don't remember. I know 22 was the Warriors again. That was number 4 for Steph Curry.
Funny thing about 22,
that
was the year that the Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. So
I think we got to go.
Come to Colorado, folks. It's where champions are born.
Speaking of hockey,
I think we got to go. No.
Speaking of hockey, I think my wife is a big hockey fan. She's trying to find a team.
Yeah.
And we were just watching something on TV, and they put up a Chicago Blackhawks highlight, and KJ was just locked. So I think my wife and my son are now Chicago Blackhawks fans.
How unfortunate, because we just beat the Blackhawks last night.
Tough for them. It's a tough look. The tough look.
So,
oh man, I wouldn't admit that my wife and child chose the losing team on the internet for people to make fun of. But
I don't know. I'm not a hockey fan.
You know how many games that Anthony Davis has played for the Mavericks since they traded him for Luka?
When did they trade for him?
They traded for him middle of last year.
37.
Okay, so
he had played 42 games for the Lakers before that, so there was about 40 games left.
37.
Okay, I'm gonna go. He barely played last year. Has he played at all this year?
I don't know. 37.
I don't think he has. I'm gonna go 28.
You're both way high.
Oh no!
What? How many has he played for the Mavericks?
14.
Oh my god! Yeah, trade for him for sure.
You should definitely get him.
You guys should, send him to New York.
That would be a.
That's where people go to have successful careers in the end.
That'd be a very James Dolan thing.
What could go wrong?
I mean, to be fair, that entire city, your sports owners are the worst in
really bad.
All of
really
in
bad.
all of the country.
Very impulsive to the point of like
it's not like,
the fan. No, but like impulsive is like listening to the fans, and it's like, well, the fans want this. Let's do it. Don't listen to the fans.
I don't think so.
The fans are dumb.
The Jets. The fans don't know
dumb.
anything.
Don't listen to me.
The Jets owner is probably the worst owner in all of
Oh,
sports.
he's terrible.
Very
and then
bad.
he put, you see it, he's like suing the NFL, or he's petitioning the NFL to get rid of, like, because the NFL does those like in-house anonymous grading
Yeah.
where like your staff can grade
Oh, yeah.
everything about your organization. The dude is the only owner in the entire league with an F ranking from his own employees, and instead of trying to change that, he went to the NFL and was like, we should ban.
He's like, we should doing
ban
this.
our own employees of like grading us.
He said, "Hey,
It's
don't
like,
do that.
bro. How out of touch?
Don't talk about me. If you're afraid to put your name on the
Yeah.
paper,
Golly,
I bet they would.
because I could clearly I handle criticism
Yes.
very well.
very well.
Like, dude, are you kidding me?
Super mature.
Are we done with our food draft?
I think we might be. Yeah,
I just realized the graphic's still up.
that's fine. Let's.
Who won?
Me?
You didn't draft.
Oh,
He just assumes the winner is always him.
You can't. Like, I understand it.
Who won?
I get it.
I
The
mean,
competitive nature, the athlete in you.
You won. It wasn't close.
Come on.
I love you to death, bro, but come on. He also, I don't love the draft idea in this because the second someone gets ham, they win.
Told you. He was pissed.
I was.
Like, the second you get ham, you win.
We rock paper scissors. I got the.
I got the first one. I got the second one. He got
I
the
took-
third one.
I took ham, and he was just.
I was.
I think the only thing that could catch that back up is if gravy was a draftable
Sure.
item.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you after like my third pick. I was like, wait a minute.
I
You
didn't
know,
want
since
to
that
because
anything-
gravy is too. Like, there's people that like turkey. They're wrong, but there's people that like turkey.
You're right.
They're wrong.
There is like gravy is too important.
To everything.
Yes, like it is vital
It's
to
the glue.
it's the glue guy.
The glue of Thanksgiving.
Like literally, it holds everything together. If you don't,
Gravy is the Austin Reeves of Thanksgiving.
no,
Wow.
wow,
Austin Reeves?
I couldn't think
come
of another
on.
Alex Caruso.
What are you? Why are you going all Lakers?
But why
what are you
Lakers?
doing?
He's a Thunder.
I know.
I'm trying to think
but
of.
he's
He was a Laker.
I'm trying to think of white bench guys. That's the glue.
I mean, I'm going
Josh
brown.
Giddey.
I'm going brown
Who?
gravy.
Josh Giddey.
I'm going brown
He's a
gravy.
starter, isn't he?
I don't know.
I'm going brown gravy for sure, not white gravy.
He's the Jamal. Gravy is Jamal.
You didn't even get what I said. You just said Jamal.
It's Jamal.
All right. Oh my God. Turn the camera off.
Gravy is to Jamal Crawford.
I'm going brown.
He's
Oh,
Jamal.
Excuse me.
No. I was gonna say like, the Draymond without the rage.
That was so good.
No.
Draymond's like the glue guy.
Okay, Jamal.
Draymond is the
Draymond's like glue if there was a surprise firecracker.
Yeah. Draymond is the green.
I mean,
bean.
You're like, look at my Eiffel Tower I made of popsicle sticks, and then it just explodes.
I mean, like that type of player, not him for his personality.
he's a green bean casserole.
Oh, nobody drafted.
Nobody
Green
drafted
Bean.
it. It was not a-
Yeah, I know.
No,
Draymond is
Nobody's
green bean
drafted
casserole.
Draymond. He's
it was he's Jamal.
Jamal. It's a brown gravy.
Do
Oh,
you have
Jamal.
any- It's like DeAndre or Jamal.
Yeah. DeAndre Ayton.
Don't ask Austin. He'd tell you it was Tyrone.
DeAndre Ayton. That was a good pull. One of
I was
old
thinking
school son.
DeAndre
Is
Jordan.
he still in the league?
He is.
He is a Laker.
The Lakers.
He's a Laker now.
Why do I keep naming Lakers?
I don't know.
Everyone is
Closet-
always a Laker.
closet
right?
Lakers fan.
You're absolutely.
Closet. You name like 4 Lakers and no one else.
Yeah, it seems like you do.
They're
kinda
not
like the
only one of them.
it's like there's a lot of Knicks I feel like you could have named. You just
Josh Hart.
you
Literally,
could have said Carmelo
literally the
Anthony.
glue guy.
He's not
Josh
a-
Hart.
He's actually what is the opposite of a glue guy?
He's not quite the Draymond firecracker, but it's
Yeah.
pretty close.
He's a scissors guy.
He wouldn't
cutting things apart.
He would. I don't think he would punch one of his teammates in the face
No.
in practice.
To be fair,
However-
Jordan Poole 100% had that coming. Jordan Poole is the worst.
I mean, I don't think he's great, but
Jordan Poole is the worst.
Superman punch your
Hmm.
teammate in the face is insane.
I stand by
I
that.
guess
Like,
wild.
I say all that, and I've literally punched. So
Yeah,
many
I was
of my
gonna say you
teammates
talk about fighting in practice.
I'm
sitting
saying,
here-
didn't you fight Josh Mitchell like every day?
every other day. Yeah, like we would. Yeah,
Not the glue guy.
I just completely realized. I'm just like, what kind of psychopath?
You're like,
Hit
oh
their
wait, this
teammate.
one.
He
Me.
needs to be
Oh,
kicked off the
me.
team, and he. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Oh,
wait.
hold on. Let me rewind
Wait a
this.
minute.
Yeah. He's got a call in line 3. It's Josh Mitchell. Says stop
You
lying.
hit me like 100
He
times,
said stop
KB.
lying to all these people. Yeah, he's right.
All
Glad
right.
we figured that out.
Well, I guess Rico won technically. All right. If we take the ham out of it, who
Yeah.
won the sides?
I would have to say Ravi probably won the sides
Let's go.
because the mac and cheese
Elevates.
greater than
It's
it
elevated.
elevates
Yeah.
the taters.
Also-
in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so were the scallop potatoes. I think
Dude, scallop potatoes are
that's a
so
unique
good.
pick. I really like that.
You're lucky that gravy is.
Gravy's universal. Gravy's universal.
I think you might be lucky because you would have taken ham and he would have gotten gravy.
He wouldn't have taken gravy.
I
Oh,
would
you
have
take
taken
gravy.
gravy.
Your
I would have
second pick
taken
is gravy.
I would have
would've
taken
taken
gravy right out. No, because you would have gone scallop. Then you would have
No,
gone.
if gravy's on the table, I go
gravy's
gravy.
on the table,
I'm
you
not
don't
nuts.
pick- you don't-
Okay, then if you would have taken. Thing is, okay, look, it would have been.
You
it
wouldn't
would
have
have
picked
been
scallops
ham.
because you don't care about scallops. Scallop potatoes.
You're right. I don't
Scallops
care
are a
about
different thing.
scallops.
I
don't
love-
care about scallops. You're
I
right.
love scallops.
You're right. I don't.
Ew.
I'm not a seafood guy.
Yeah.
No, because I would have gone ham. You would have gone scallop potatoes.
Mhm. No,
I
I'd
would've
have gone gravy.
You would have
If
gone
gravy's on the table, I take gravy.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to.
you have to take the second you lose ham, you have to take
You
gravy
have to take
in
gravy.
spite of your opponent.
Yes.
Okay.
And you wouldn't take
Then you would have
scallops?
lost out on mac and cheese. Because I would have taken mashed potatoes. You would have taken scallop. Then I would have taken mac and cheese.
That's fine. I
You
got
never
gravy.
know,
though.
though. He could have
I got
gone mac
gravy.
and cheese before the scallop.
I
He
know.
absolutely would not have.
Yeah.
You would not have.
Nah,
You would not.
Unless Kenny was here, like it's Rib Shack mac and cheese. And I was like,
Ooh. Yeah, that rib shack.
yeah, we might
You
have.
forget I
Miss
listen to this
Jackie.
guy 3 hours, 5 days a week. I know his likes and
Sorry.
dislikes.
You hang out with me out of choice. He's
I
getting
know.
paid, he gets paid to.
Dude, crazy. I was downstairs eating my quesadilla like in your office by myself. Then I go,
Robbie.
and I was like,
Did you text me?
I go, I guess I'm just gonna leave. And I go, where's my friend Robbie? And they go, Caden looks at me, he goes, he's upstairs recording with Rico. I go, word. And they just walked up here. Just walked in. Just walked in. On air sign on.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We had a great show.
Yeah.
Great live
Great
Thanksgiving
Yeah,
show.
live. Totally live.
Thanksgiving.
Definitely live.
You need to get on the road
Yeah,
to get back to
You gotta
Colorado.
get to
Yeah, I got a
Colorado
flight
2
to
days
catch.
ago.
I've got a flight to catch.
He drove
Get
back
outta here.
to join us, and then
Yeah.
he's going to drive. Actually, you taking the PJ?
No, I wish. It's taken this weekend.
Oh, damn.
I got my driver.
All right.
Kenny, thanks for joining us.
My
Happy
boys.
Thanksgiving, buddy.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys.
All of you out there, happy Thanksgiving as well. We will be right back. We got to do bet on it because there's a ton of games this weekend. We will do that coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live. Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Rico. I'm Ravi on a special Thanksgiving Day edition of Hurrdat Sports Live. We appreciate you joining us here, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. It is now time for Bet on It. Bet on It. Brought to you by Warhorse Casino and Sportsbook. It is a very good slate of college games over the next couple days here, starting off on Friday. There's a game here that doesn't make any sense, and it has a lot to do with not football reasons.
Hell yeah.
Ole Miss and Mississippi State,
Ooh, the Egg Bowl. Ooh, I am not football. I don't care about the game. Ole Miss is going to crush them. Whatever. I'm so excited about this game
Why?
because of what's going to happen after.
So here's the thing. Ole Miss, I would agree. On the surface, you're like, oh, 10-1, playing for the playoff, number 6 in the country. Mississippi State, 5-6, 1-6 in SEC play. They're struggling, right? It's in Starkville.
Mm-hmm. A lot of cowbells.
Ole Miss is only a 6.5-point favorite.
Doesn't make much sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
What does Vegas know?
Vegas knows that Lane Kiffin is going to Baton Rouge, I think.
He's going to Baton Rouge. He's going to be an LSU Tiger.
Go Tigers.
And
he's going to hire Ed Orgeron. Oh, my God. LSU already said it was okay. They already said it was okay. They said he could add him to his staff.
Oh, my God. I can't wait.
I don't want to pick Mississippi State here, but
I might become an LSU fan.
But like this is a really weird spot for Ole Miss to be in.
Egg Bowl.
There apparently he's going to announce his decision Saturday. At least that's what the AD thinks.
He said it's going to be after the game.
Staying at Ole Miss, going to LSU, or apparently Florida thinks they have a shot. Good luck, Florida.
He ain't going to Florida.
I think he's going to LSU.
It's either LSU or Ole Miss.
I remember somebody made a good point. One of the broadcasts, one of the talking heads on one of the networks made a good point saying, look, Lane, if you go anywhere else, there's very little chance that you get a statue, that you get a field named after you, that you get a building named after you. If you stay at Ole Miss and you continue on the trajectory that you're at, you make the playoff for the first time in Ole Miss's history. Yeah. You win a playoff game for the first time in Ole Miss's history. God forbid you make the national championship game and win it for the first time in quite some time. Was it the 1960s or something? The last time Ole Miss won a natty?
Have they ever won a natty?
I don't know. That's even worse.
They claim a 1960 national championship. I think that might be one of those fake SEC national
one of
championships.
those Texas A&M 25 championships.
Yeah. They have one. It was like in 1937. That's all you get.
Okay. So the first time in Lord knows that had that long, like if you stay at Ole Miss and you continue on your trajectory, you're getting a statue. You might get the field named after you. You might get a building named after you. Hell, they might. I don't know what their stadium's called. I don't know who it's named after. It might be Lane Kiffin Stadium. But if you go to LSU, they've had 3 different head coaches win natties in the last 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess what? None of them have anything there.
Yeah.
Not a single thing. The recruiting is easier. The NIL is probably better.
A lot easier. You want to know something funny? Real quick here. Ole Miss has 7 10-win seasons ever before Lane Kiffin. In Lane Kiffin's 6 years,
he has 6, 5.
He's got 4. Now, one of those is COVID year, so I'm not even counting that one. So in 5 years, in 5 non-COVID years, he has 4 10-win seasons.
That's pretty good. Oh, it's Davis. Oh no, that's Starkville, Davis Wade Stadium.
So
I mean,
to your point, to the talking head point, whoever brought it up.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was.
The opportunity to be a legend at Ole Miss is enormous. Also, I do think you have to look at the fact that they were preseason top 6 last year. Expected to make college football playoff. Did not make the college football playoff. Finished 14th in the final college football playoff poll, and there was not a single whisper of his job being in danger. They doubled down and gave him more money to buy more players this year. So I do think that matters. I don't know if it's going to matter enough. I think he's kind of gone. What I will say is we had what I would say less of a distraction this year. I think there was a dramatically less chance that Matt Rule was going to Penn State than there is that Lane Kiffin is going to LSU. And we saw how that affected Nebraska before it on a short week. And on how that affected them against what I consider to be inferior opponent in Minnesota.
I would argue that Ole Miss's roster is the difference between a Mississippi State and an Ole Miss roster is greater than a Minnesota-Nebraska roster.
I would agree. I also think the distraction is that much greater.
Probably.
So, listen, I'm going to go DB here. I think it's small for a reason. I'm taking the Bulldogs.
I'm staying with the Rebs.
You don't feel good about it, though, do you?
I do not feel good about it at all. But I'm staying with the Rebs. I'm staying with Ole Miss. By the way, their stadium, they play in Vaught Hemingway Stadium.
Yeah, Vaught is the I think it's Voight.
Voight Hemingway.
He's the head coach that won their alleged national title.
Okay.
In 1960.
It's named for Judge William Hemingway, a professor of law and chairman of the university's Committee of Athletics.
Not Ernest.
Nope.
All right. So you've got Ole Miss. I've got the Bulldogs. We'll see how that one goes. Speaking of Bulldogs, Georgia and Georgia Tech. In-state rivalry. Georgia Tech coming off of a rough loss and hasn't played great for a couple weeks here.
Disappointing.
Georgia is a 12.5-point favorite. I would love it if Georgia Tech won here, but give me the Dogs. This is
Georgia
Tech's not playing good ball.
I want the Ramblin' Wreck to wreck the Bulldogs.
Would love it.
End to the season.
Would love it.
But Georgia has kind of been on a roll these last 4 weeks. They struggled against Florida, but they only allowed 20 points. They only allowed 21 to Mississippi State.
Their defense has been playing really well.
They only allowed 10 to Texas and then Charlotte. Whatever. So Georgia's playing for a spot in the SEC championship game. They're playing for a higher seed in the college football playoff. Georgia Tech is playing for a potential spot in the college football playoff,
and I believe a potential spot in the ACC championship.
but
I think still,
but I don't think it's going to be enough.
I don't.
I think Georgia,
I would love it.
technically, the away team is going to win this.
Yeah, so we both got Georgia there.
Yeah.
Texas A&M and Texas, the renewing of the rivalry. We've got A&M just a 2.5-point favorite at Darrell K. Royal Stadium. That number seems small to me. 11-0 A&M. Here's why. My brother-in-law who lives in Texas asked me this question the other day. He goes, hey, this seems like they should be favored by more. I was like, they should be. Here's what's happening. Texas, if you go by 24/7 composite talent rankings, slightly more talented than Texas A&M. Not a big gap, slightly more talented. A&M, I think you would trust their quarterback, Marcel Reed, more than you trust Arch Manning.
Yes.
I would personally. It is at Texas, though, and here's the thing I think matters the most. People are assuming, based on history, that A&M will choke at some point.
They have to.
This is the last opportunity for them to choke. And it is against their rival. It is at Texas.
Technically, they could choke in the SEC championship game, which would be hilarious.
Yeah, but in order to give so here's the problem with Texas A&M, right? Is they have a very Indiana resume from last year. They're very, very soft schedule. They've dominated that schedule, but very, very soft schedule. I believe they have not beaten a ranked team all year, if I remember correctly. Texas is out of college football playoff contention.
They beat Notre Dame. They were still ranked.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They were ranked at the time.
But oh my goodness, this is soft.
Yes.
This is baby poop soft.
Yes, it's rough. I mean, their schedule is horrendously bad. So
you should have lost to Arkansas.
It was UTSA, Utah State. They win in overtime against Notre Dame. Only beat Auburn, who's very bad, by 6.
Very bad.
They beat Mississippi State. They beat Florida. They only beat Arkansas by 3, who's also bad.
They stump a mud hole in LSU.
LSU and Missouri are both not good. South Carolina, not good. Should have lost that game. And they lost
to SM or the
they beat Samford.
If they lost,
that would be really funny. So you've got a very soft schedule that sets up, if you lose this game and lose in the SEC championship, could get left out.
That would be the funniest,
the most
thing.
Texas A&M thing to possibly happen.
Funniest thing I'd ever seen.
The most Texas A&M thing to possibly happen. That's sort of what I'm rooting for right now.
100%.
So I will pick Texas.
Okay, not a Texas fan, but I want Texas to win this game just because of that aspect of it, just to mess with, one of these teams has to win. And although I dislike Texas, I think it'd be even funnier for Texas A&M season to just be derailed.
Yes,
completely by Texas, and then whoever they play probably Georgia in the SEC championship.
And listen,
it'd be hilarious.
They probably still make the playoff in that scenario, but the fact that they would have to sweat it out, hilarious.
They'd have to go somewhere.
And very Texas A&M of them. I'm taking the Longhorns here.
I am not. I want the Longhorns to win. I think Texas A&M gets it done.
It feels very dirty to be rooting for Texas, but it's the thing that needs to happen right now.
Yeah.
Ohio State and Michigan on Saturday. The game. Ohio State is a 9.5-point favorite at Ann Arbor.
They're always favored in this one.
They're always favored, and Michigan's better than they were last year for sure.
Ohio State's they're number 1, and they've been rolling through people, but we talked about this.
That was the case last year, too.
Ohio State's not as good as they were last year.
And Michigan's better than they were last year. Michigan was bad last year.
I know, but I'm thinking quarterback position at least.
They had Alex Orji last year. They were awful at quarterback last year. They were awful at quarterback last year.
They didn't have.
They literally, I think they ran the ball 50 times against Ohio State last year.
Are they as physically?
So they did lose some guys on the defensive line, I believe. So they may not be as physically dominant as they were last year.
Also, Ohio State's wide receivers are going to be fresh. They rested them.
That's fine.
Crazy.
That's fine.
That you can do that in the conference season.
That's fine. Listen, 9.5 feels heavy in this game. I'm taking the points. I'm not saying Michigan wins outright. I'm taking the points. I think Michigan covers the 9.5.
I think Ryan Day and Ohio State knows how much this game matters. Not that it hasn't mattered before, but the 3-game losing streak to Michigan. Or is it 4? 5?
I think it's 5. I think it's 5. I'm going to double check here. You keep talking.
That's worse.
I think it's 5.
Well, whatever losing streak it is, it's massive, and that's the only thing. Like, you won a national championship last year, and nobody cares because you still haven't beaten
It's
Michigan.
the only reason you didn't get fired.
Like, you still haven't beaten Michigan, Ryan Day. It's the one thing you need to do. You won a natty, nobody cares. Everybody celebrated, and they're like, cool, next year beat Michigan.
Yeah, they care, but only in the point that you're not going to get fired now.
Why is this so hard? Like, this shouldn't be hard. Ohio State should run through Michigan.
It's 4. This would be 5.
4. Okay.
4 in a row.
I'm going to go with the Buckeyes breaking the streak. Just like Texas A&M, I don't feel great about it.
I don't know if they're going to break the streak. I don't think they're going to cover. I
also don't think they're going to cover.
I'm going to take Michigan to
I
cover.
think they win.
I'm going to take Michigan to cover.
Okay.
All right. The next one here on the slate. Where do I want to go?
Do you want to go with Scott Frost?
What does Scott Frost have for us this week?
He's going to BYU, and he's a 17.5-point dog.
Give me BYU all the points.
Not picking that game.
I hope they win by 100. Okay, there's 2 that I'm debating. We can do them both. It doesn't matter. There's no time frame on this.
Yeah.
Alabama, Auburn. Alabama is
that one.
only a 6.5-point favorite over Auburn.
Auburn doesn't have a head coach. Auburn is kind of in a free fall.
This is a very Mississippi State Ole Miss very type game here. It is at
Jordan Hare Stadium.
And Alabama at night at Jordan Hare has played terrible.
Awful.
Like very, very bad.
And this is not the same Alabama team that runs through people and then plays bad at Auburn. This is an Alabama team that's
pretty good. Better than bad. They're pretty good.
They'll beat some people. I mean, they're a top 10 team. But
yeah,
I'm comparing them to past Alabama.
To Saban Bama.
Saban Bama was a beast.
Yeah.
This Bama is, it's
absolute
Bama.
Wagon.
Nobody is, careful, not nobody. Very few teams are afraid to play Bama now.
Not in the same way.
Yes.
Not in the same way. I think I'm going Auburn here. That number's not big enough.
That being said,
that number's not big enough.
Alabama is going to stomp a mud hole in Auburn.
That number's not big enough. I'm going Auburn.
I have Alabama by double digits.
All right. That's fine.
They've got a point to prove.
Last one for me before we get to Nebraska.
I say, if you don't pick the game that I'm looking at right now, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to let you do yours, and I'm going to be upset at you. If you
Vanderbilt, Tennessee?
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Vanderbilt, Tennessee. Vanderbilt is at Knoxville, at Neyland Stadium. Vanderbilt is a 2.5-point dog to Tennessee. I think I'm just going Vandy here. Vandy to win. Give me Vandy on the money line.
This, my friend, is the Diego Pavia Heisman game.
Oh, here we go.
This
is your guy.
This is the game that Diego Pavia cements his case as the Heisman winner.
There we go.
Diego Pavia goes out, has a fantastic game. Vanderbilt escapes with a win.
They leaves themselves intact for the college football playoff.
They
potentially
make the playoff. No, they make the playoff.
All right.
Diego Pavia wins a Heisman, and they lose in the first round.
And they lose.
Yeah, they lose the first round.
It's fine.
That's the magic season ends.
It's fine.
Still magic. They're going to use all of their magic up in this Tennessee game.
All right.
And in him winning a Heisman, and they're going to get blown out in the first round.
Absolutely. All right. That is, we agree on Vandy.
Yep.
Last one here. Nebraska at home against Iowa. Both 7-4. Iowa is a 6.5-point favorite.
I hate it.
I also hate it.
I hate everything about this.
I hate everything about Iowa.
Yeah. I hate everything about Iowa. I hate everything about this game.
Hate it.
Nebraska famously coming off of a stomping.
Not good performance.
By Penn State.
Not a good performance.
In Beaver Stadium on a short week.
Short week.
Playing an Iowa team who plays very similar to the other teams that have beaten them. Aside from USC.
Kind of.
An Iowa team that doesn't have a passing game is going to rely on the run, mostly with their quarterback, which Nebraska did a good job against UCLA. It's at home. People want that 8th win. They want to beat Iowa so bad. The last time Nebraska beat Iowa was with an interim head coach.
The 8th win is important here. It really is.
It's very important.
The 8th win
for
changes
Nebraska.
how you feel about this year.
They're upset with their performance. They haven't lost 2 in a row this year.
They have not.
They've not gone back-to-back losses.
They have not.
Despite a heartbreaker against Minnesota and now a heartbreaker against Penn State. I don't feel confident about this answer at all, but I think Nebraska wins this game.
Here's the thing. The biggest difference between Iowa and Michigan is because those are the two teams, Iowa and Penn State and Michigan, because those are the two teams that Nebraska's played so far that people are getting like, hey, they want to out physical you. They kind of want to punch you in the mouth. Is the skill positions at Michigan and Penn State are so much better than they are at Iowa.
Yes.
Even if the offensive line is greater or equal to, I think probably equal to, I don't know that it's greater than Michigan or Penn State, but in the neighborhood for sure, is even if those exact same holes are opened up, the ability to exploit them is dramatically less by those skill position players.
Yes.
There is no Justice Haynes. There is no Jordan Marshall. There is no Bryce Underwood. There is no Katron Allen. There is no Nick Singleton. That matters, right? Nebraska has to show up, right? If Nebraska doesn't show up, they're going to get bullied again.
Yeah.
Right? They have to show up. I have to believe, based on what we've seen previously this year, when they got bullied by Minnesota, when they had the heartbreakers against USC and Michigan, that Nebraska is going to respond emotionally the way I need them to in order to be in this game. I think the difference is Iowa does not have the skill position players to exploit Nebraska in the same ways that Michigan and Penn State did. I think that is a big, big deal here.
Okay, I agree with that. Can I add one more thing?
Sure.
A very important key to this game.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the first. This is going to be the first major test for Mike Eckler's special teams.
Yeah, you cannot let that man touch the ball.
You have to find a way to either keep the ball away from him,
Cannot let that man
or
touch the ball.
bottle him up.
You cannot let Cade Weechin touch the ball at all.
Like it's imperative that Weechin does not score.
That's how
if they score on special teams,
Nebraska loses.
Nebraska loses. I don't care what the score is. Nebraska could be up 21-3. If Iowa scores on special teams, they will win the game.
What did I say on Friday about Nebraska Penn State? Nebraska needed special teams, a big special teams play to kind of steal a possession, right? Said this again in the post game too, where they never found a way, either a turnover or special teams play or whatever, to kind of steal those possessions they need to.
Yep.
Iowa has to do that because of their offense.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because of what their offense is, and outside of everybody against like Minnesota and Wisconsin, where they randomly decided to score points. Because of how their offense typically operates, they need to steal possessions, whether that's turnovers or special teams, which they're great at both, right? But especially Weechin in special teams, who scares the hell out of me. That is something, if Nebraska can prevent that from happening, they win this game. I don't think, I've been wrong before,
famously,
a couple times. I don't think Iowa's offense is good enough to beat Nebraska without one of those things happening, without a special teams or defense or a significant turnover advantage that allows them to steal some possessions back.
I would agree with that.
I don't think that's a crazy hot take. I think if Nebraska can keep them from doing that, Nebraska wins this game. If Iowa's able to do that, Iowa wins this game. I think Nebraska will be in a spot where they win this game. This is, to me, 8th win of the season. We feel much better going into the offseason and into the bowl game as an 8-4 team, winning record in the Big Ten. Nebraska covers the 6.5. They win this game outright. Onto the bowl game.
The Heroes Trophy is gonna be in Shields.
Forgot that was even a thing still.
Yep.
Hooray.
It was in the Lincoln Shields after Mickey Joseph and them beat them.
There you go.
It's just like all the way up there. Like I didn't even know it was there until like I ran. I was like, oh, that shirt looks nice. Like, what is that the Heroes Trophy?
That's how occasionally the $5 bits of broken chair trophy is just up in our bar.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that?
I have.
Yeah, because we love Team Jack. We're close with them.
Love that trophy.
It just randomly sometimes will be hanging out in the bar. If you ever come by Hurrdat Sports Bar. So that is Bet On It, brought to you by War Horse Casino and Sportsbook. Listen, if you're gonna go place bets, do it in Nebraska. Like, what are we doing here? You got to drive anyway.
Yep.
There's no mobile betting in Nebraska, so you either have to drive to Iowa to place your mobile bet.
Gross.
Or you can drive to Warhorse and place your bet in person and keep your money in Nebraska.
Especially this week.
Yeah, especially this week, man. Don't give your money to Iowa, you bums.
Don't go across the
border. Don't you dare. You keep your money here where it belongs at Warhorse. And listen, we love our friends over at Warhorse. They've got the great restaurants, the Ale House. They got the sports book. Stick around, maybe play a few table games or something. Listen, I know you're trying to get away from your family for a few hours. It's fine. That's why you're listening to us right now. Go over to Warhorse after this is done. Go hang out, place a couple bets at the sports book, have something to eat because you're tired of Rico's ham And just kidding. If you had Rico's ham, you'd be happy. But because you had grandma's turkey, you're like, oh, God, I got to get something else. Go get something to eat.
Had Ravi's cranberry sauce. Disgusting.
Listen, I'm telling my wife you said that.
I didn't say hers. I said yours.
You think I made anything?
Exactly. You got it out of a can. If she made it, it's probably delicious.
I was making it at night. Make sure you go to Warhorse. That's where you got to place your sports bet. You can even download the app, build your bets, and then place them right there in person. It's quick, it's easy, and it's much better than giving your money to that garbage state to the east. That's all I got to say about that. That's a Bet on It brought to you by Warhorse Casino and Sportsbook. And that's the show for today. Rico, thank you very much for coming here live on Thanksgiving and taking time away from your family.
Famously.
Not wearing the same shirts that we wore on Monday.
Nope.
Because this is live and on Thanksgiving.
Definitely on a Thursday, November 27th.
And Kenny time traveled to come be here with us. We appreciated that as well.
It was actually a hologram. We have that kind of
The technology, the AI is getting pretty good.
Yeah, couldn't even put my hand through him because he was
that's
real.
Really real.
It's crazy.
That is Hurrdat Sports Live for today. In all seriousness, hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope you have some great time with your family. And just thank you so much for supporting us, for supporting what we do, and being a part of our show. And thank you for letting us be a part of your lives every day. We really appreciate it. Even when we're arguing with you or yelling at you in the chat, we still love you. That's Rico. I'm Ravi. We will talk to you. Well, we're going to talk to you tomorrow because we've got a little preview show, Iowa, Nebraska.
Yep.
And then we've got you for Hail Varsity Post Game Show as well. Enjoy your holiday. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.